For the first time in half a century, New South Wales is back in the interstate football big time, and what a return they're looking forward to. Their opponents tonight will be the current champions of Australia, the all-conquering Crow Eaters from South Australia, who make their appearance in this bicentennial football championship in front of their hometown crowd here at Football Park. It'll be a coaching shootout between 500-game veteran Tommy Hafey and All-Australian coach Graham Corns. The two teams have met 6 times over the years. The South Australians are yet to be beaten. Tonight they meet again under the brilliant lights of Football Park to decide who will meet Victoria in Saturday night's final. The match that will decide who are the champions of Australia.
Good evening from Football Park, and what a far cry from the sweltering 35 degrees that we had here last night. It's only 17 degrees, a strong wind blowing down the ground, but what a magnificent surface on which to play Australian rules football. Tonight, Tommy Hafey's New South Wales team, a patchwork combination. They'll be out to upset the reigning national champions South Australia, but I get the feeling that there's too much local pride and prestige about to see them bundled out of the carnival tonight. Also, they would dearly love to knock off the Big White V in the final on Saturday night. Now, to set up tonight's game and to call the action, let's go to Rob Gaylard and the kiss of death, Lou Richards.
Thank you very much, Maxie, and good evening to you, wherever you may be watching us on the Nine Network throughout Australia on this second day of what's been a football feast here in Adelaide. Last night, of course, we saw Victoria power its way through to the grand final on Saturday night. Tonight, it's New South Wales versus South Australia. Lou Richards, good evening to you. How do you see tonight's game panning out?
Well, good evening, Rob and viewers. Naturally, you'd have to lean to South Australia because they are the favourites, a star-studded side, but don't be surprised if New South Wales don't put up a pretty good show about this match.
All right, let's have a look at perhaps the draw of this great carnival. Tonight, as we said, South Australia plays New South Wales. On Saturday, the loser will play West Australia in the curtain raiser to decide 3rd and 4th positions, and the winner will play Victoria in that final to decide the Australian champions in this great bicentennial carnival. Perhaps we might take a look at the South Australian lineup, Louis, very quickly, and of course there's some stars amongst there.
Well, it is a star-studded side, and of course they've got the best 3 rovers in the business. We see there's Naily, there's McGuinness, and also not forgetting the other fellow that moves about pretty quickly, that's Snarley, who played such a great game for Carlton in the finals. And you've also got Kernahan and Bradley, very good players. And remember Rogers, the bloke who's playing at centre-half back, he was the fellow that put Britain out of action last year in this great match over here at Football Park.
Well, New South Wales, their lineup, as Maxie referred to a little bit earlier on, a bit of a patchwork lineup, but sure as we say this, I can't remember in my time in football perhaps 3 brothers representing the state of origin.
Well, I can't either, but the moment you say that, Bob, you'll have people ringing up and saying, well, there were 3 brothers or 4 brothers that played in 1896, so let's say we think it's a record. That's most important, isn't it?
Well, even though South Australia perhaps are going in as the favourites for this particular game here tonight, don't be surprised, New South Wales, they're going to give them everything that they've got, and they'll know they've been in a game of football. Tonight, I suppose, from the coaching point of view, it's almost the story of the pupil and the master. Of course, we've got Graham Corns and Tom Hafey. And down on the boundary line to take a look at these 2 gentlemen in depth, it's good evening to Barry Breen and Stephen Phillips.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening, Barry. Amazing night after last night when it was 36 degrees and very, very warm indeed.
It's like the Antarctic tonight, Stephen. Chalk and cheese. It's a very cold night.
Blowing off the South Pole, and an interesting note, and you'll see it during the evening, both the coaches, Graham Corns and Tommy Hafey, obviously not affected by the cooler weather. They're both here in T-shirts. And looking at the careers of 2 men, first of all, Graham Corns, a fantastic playing career, more than 300 games with Glenelg, 20 state appearances, and then, of course, he turned his hand to coaching, and as you can see from his record, a fantastic one at that. All-Australian coach last year, and at 39, about to turn 40, the youngest of the 4 coaches. A slight difference from T-shirt Tommy.
Well, Tommy's 56 years of age, Stephen, and the elder statesman of league coaches. He's been at the business now for some 22 years and had a lot of success in that time with Richmond and Geelong and Collingwood, especially in the late 70s with Collingwood. But it's going to be a great game tonight. I think Tommy's experience is certainly going to stand him in very good stead, and I think he'll have the New South Wales side extremely well prepared.
Barry will be talking to you during the evening. You'll be keeping an eye on Tommy and the New South Wales boys. But of course, it's a compulsory attendance for the Victorians. They're sitting up there in the stand behind us and keeping a very close eye on the South Australians and New South Welshmen. And Max Walker is over there with a very famous face. Over to you, Max.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Well, that face is Neil Curley, former South Australian coach, the king of football here in South Australia, very familiar with the local side. What realistically then, Neil, is the chances of New South Wales knocking off South Australia tonight?
Oh, well, in the Australian rules, Max, as you're well aware, anything can happen on a night such as this, but I think South Australia would justify to start favourite. I think they're a more settled side. They know one another better. They've got the best rovers on the ground in conditions such as we have tonight. The ball will be on the ground a lot, and that'll make the Rovers game a lot easier.
And what about strength? Do you think that'll be a bigger factor tonight than last night when Victoria won?
Well, I don't know if New South Wales have the strength, but I'm certain they'll be trying to put some aggression into their play. They'll have to unsettle these quicker South Australians, and the only way to do that is tight checking, aggressive attack on the ball, because if they don't do that, I think they'll be struggling.
Well, there we are. It looks like being a great game. We might take this opportunity to take a break, and we'll be back.
Well, good evening and welcome back to Football Park here in Adelaide. And of course, the conditions, as we heard a little bit earlier on, probably not as good as probably last night, but it's going to be a lot cooler conditions, and I think the ball's going to be moving around this ground quite quickly. Curtain raiser scores from the game we saw a little bit earlier on in division results of round one. The VFA had an enormous victory, 112-35 to Queensland in the semi-final. The Northern Territory came from behind, 11-19-85 to defeat the Amateurs, 8-9-57. The toss, of course, New South Wales, by the way things are looking at the moment, and South Australia out there. Let's have a look at it. Danaher out there has won the toss, and they're going to kick, what will we call that, Louis? We'll call that the northern end?
That's the lake end, isn't it? Do you call that the lake end?
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do. That's the, well, it's a southwesterly we've got blowing here at the moment, Neil, isn't it?
Yes, virtually straight down the ground.
Okay, New South Wales have won the toss. Umpires in charge of tonight's game. Umpire Ross Castle from New South Wales. He's 28 years of age, made his debut to umpiring in 1983. He's umpired 38 games and has one state game to his credit. Backing him up tonight is Laurie Argent, the senior of the two, 35 years of age. Made his debut in 1975 and has the record of 275 games to his credit and 5 state games. We'll stand by for the national anthem. Well, if there's any football blood in you at all, Lou Richards, I think that's enough to stir anyone up.
Well, it certainly is, and New South Wales would be outsiders in this match, Neil, that's for sure, but we expect them to put up a pretty good show against the favourites here tonight.
They're representing their state, Lou, and interesting to see that South Australia had the 3 rovers on the ground.
All right, the umpire about to put the ball down for the start of this first quarter. This State of Origin series here in the Bicentennial Football Carnival. To do the ruck work, it's Micken and Byrne to the ground into attack straight away. Almost a mark pulled in there for the New South Wales side. I dare say there'll be a few nerves as they drive it up towards centre half forward. Underneath the ball on that occasion there was Coleman. The big punch comes out into the open spaces. It's about 40 metres out from their attacking zone. Handball's on. Here's a chance now for them to swing around on the left boot. Almost getting the ball on that occasion was the South Australian halfback flanker there. But what's going to happen here? Free kick's going to be pulled out and it'll go to South Australia on the far side of the ground. It was McDermott. Ball's high out to centre wing. Very, very scrambly out there. Plenty of weight being thrown about. That time Byrne went in. Out there is Carroll. For South Australia picked up here by Nailey. Nailey's kicked towards centre wing. Linder's out there being out-bumped and out-thought at the moment by Winton. He's the first to recover, but the ball's going to beat them over the line and out of bounds. The ball almost on true centre wing position. I did mention before, Louis, in relation to nerves, but I think what perhaps New South Wales may lack, perhaps in skill on paper, they're certainly going to make up with desperation.
Well, there's a chance now for Hawke to drive the ball back towards the New South Wales half-forward line, and it's out of bounds. I should imagine, even though they're favourites, Neil, South Australia would be a little bit nervous.
Well, it's a game they have to win, Lou. They realise that, and they'll be a bit toey.
This is Micken against Coleman. Number 3 Coleman for New South Wales. Got it in the back, the ball smothered. There's a chance now for New South Wales to go to attack. A chance out there on the wing position. Battling out there is, I think it is Hawke.
And McDermott.
McDermott. So it'll be a ball up in that towards the forward pocket for New South Wales. And they're kicking with a strong breeze. Bit of a scrimmage developing again, but the umpires found a free kick. Waiting for this kick.
He can kick that goal from there.
There's the kick on its way, but it's a shocking kick off the side of the boot and out of bounds. And to take the free kick is last year's Brownlow medalist for Victoria, Johnny Platt.
That wasn't a difficult kick for goal there. He had the breeze to help him.
Platten's kick is back to the half-back line. Not getting a lot of distance. Once again, the ball is over the line and out of bounds.
They'd be happy to keep the ball there, Lou, in that South Australia, in that dead pocket.
2.5 minutes gone of the first quarter. It'll be Coleman against Micken. Micken gets the knockout. He's got the reach, and the umpire's found a free kick.
McDermott again.
And this is McDermott, the skipper of South Australia. McDermott left unattended, took advantage of that, went for the long kick out towards the wing position. No one can hold the mark. Still plenty of juggling, knocked on by Byrne. They're certainly fumbling now as we see Scott trying to get the ball out for New South Wales does, but down they go like 9 pins, and the umpire's found a free kick, and the free kick will go to Micken. The ball driven back there towards the wing position. There's a good mark taken that time by Naily. Naily out there on the wing position, ready to send South Australia back into attack. This is the furthest they've been upfield since the start of the quarter. There's the ball on its way. A charge for Kernahan. He was interfered with, and he'll get a free kick.
Yes, I think they'll do a lot of that to try and stop this fella.
Kernahan would be at least 45 metres out from goal on about a 45-degree angle. He's the vice-captain of the side. Goes for a short pass. It's a bad one. Picked up by Toohey. Toohey's kick is a wild one. Kernahan's got a chance to smother that. It bounced the wrong way for him. The ball is over the line and out of bounds. Going after that time was Morford. Couldn't pick it up for New South Wales, and the ball out of bounds. Still on the South Australian forward line, and neither side has scored as yet into the quarter by just on 4 minutes.
Boundary throw-in comes in, this time in front. McDermott overran the ball. Here's a chance now for the home side to go forward. They put it right down in that square. Players overrun the ball. Here's a chance for the defenders to come in here now for New South Wales. They've got a ton of time. The handball's on. It's off from Murphy, but pushed over the line and out of bounds.
Yes, he could have worked that ball a bit better than that boy.
So plenty of strength being used down in the forward line. Platt lurking underneath the boundary throw in there. Comes over the back of the pack. Carroll tried to punch it out, kicked off the ground. The open spaces of that half-forward flank, but it's going to beat them over the line and out of bounds. It does just that. And the player there for South Australia. 4 3/4 minutes into the quarter. Boundary throw in. Big Micken it was that got it down in the direction of Stretch. Can do a lot with it. Stacks on the mill. Umpire puts a whistle on play, and we'll find another bounce down.
New South Wales will have to try and bottle it up to stop South Australia breaking away with their pace.
Very scrambly, Neil, the opening few moments. Oh, up very high on that occasion there was Byrne. Didn't get it down. Wasn't a decisive tap down. Breaking through the pack there was McDermott onto the left boot into the open spaces, but it's all New South Wales. And taking the mark there was Bubner. Bubner plays on quickly. Right foot kick towards centre half forward. And he's found his centre half forward there too in Hall, is it, on that far side of the ground? No, sorry, it's Danaher. Danaher moves it quickly. Oh, almost paid off dividends at centre half forward. Good tackle on that occasion. Umpire calls play on. Almost copping one behind the ear was Brownless. There's a chance now for the handball to come out to Brownless. Intercepted beautifully there by the South Australians, and they go forward. There's a chance for Kernahan to drive it quickly. He's got to get that ball moving quickly down to that forward line. Looking for Lindner. Almost outnumbered over the top of the pack. Almost dragged it in too. There's the handball on there from South Australia's Murphy. Now it's Byrne to the back of the square, overruns the players. There's a little bit of wind out there which is favouring the New South Wales side at the moment. Into the open spaces, and a mark picked up there on that occasion on the far side of the ground there by Bradley. Bradley's quick again as to that open space of the wing. Abernathy, left foot, drives it inboard towards that half-forward flank. Punch from behind by the New South Wales side, showing plenty of strength over there was Toohey. The ball's back to that centre wing position again. Thrip has a chance, tries to brush his opponent off on that occasion, gets out of it. Almost runs into trouble. The kick's high, waiting down. South Australia have the crummers. Looking down here for a free kick and getting it on that occasion for the South Australian side there. On that far side of the ground looks like McDermott, is it?
Well, he's been at everything. This is McDermott now taking the mark short of centre half forward. Could easily lose that one. But the umpire being a little bit lenient. There's the kick by McDermott up there towards Lindner. Lindner's sandwiched between two of them. No one can take the mark. It's finally cleared away by New South Wales. Out towards the wing position. There's a chance now for Stretch to pick the ball up. This fella usually goes for a long kick, but he's gone for a short pass this time. Kicked off the ground beautifully down there towards the half-forward line. A hand pass comes out again to Stretch. Went without the ball, picked up by Morwood, ducked his head, and the umpire said hold the ball. May be a bit tough on him than I would think. So Stretch to take the free kick out there on the centre wing position. Bad kick smothered by Morwood, but Stretch goes after it again. Morwood tries to get a hand pass out to Coleman, but couldn't succeed there. And the umpire will ball it up again out there towards the centre wing position.
Pretty tight out there, Lou. All players are giving it all at this moment.
7.5 minutes gone. Neither side yet to score. Well, still another ball up. Still on that centre wing position, about 5 or 6 metres in from the square. Knocked out by Micken. Now it comes towards the wing position. South Australia going to attack, that time through Bradley. And Bradley's kick is marked by Kernahan. Now it goes to McGuinness. There's a chance now for Linder to have a running shot at goal, but he's off target. And still no score on the ball.
I think they'd rather have it out of bounds there than a point, Lou. They can work this for a goal if they're good enough now.
Well, we're over 8 minutes into the first quarter, but South Australia do have a chance to score. It's right against their point post. Byrne got the tap down, comes down to McDermott doing a great job, but he's over the line and out of bounds. Not the most stylish football in the world, but there's still plenty of pressure on South Australia, but they're kicking against a very strong breeze. Knocked out by Kernahan. Back it comes to two. He can't pick it up. McDermott goes down, picked up again by Linder, run into a brick wall, couldn't get clear, and the umpire said hold the ball against him, and the free kick will go down there to win of New South Wales.
This is the sort of football that Neil Kearley likes. It's pretty tough down there. I'm glad we're sitting up here having a look at it. Comes towards centre ground. Here's Platten at centre half forward. Has time to run around. He's got to get rid of it quickly. There's a chance for South Australia to get their first score on the board. It drops into the square. Linder in front and takes a great mark. We know this fellow from Geelong for his high-flying attributes. No doubt we'll see a few of those before the night's finished. But judge that to a nicety.
Very strong in front, this boy. Once he gets in front, or even though he lacks height, he's very strong.
Let's see what Linder can do with this one. In my opinion, shouldn't miss it. He's only 15 metres out directly in front. That's the first on the score, but it's gone to South Australia at the 9.5-minute mark of the first quarter. Play underway again. Goes up towards the half-back flank for South Australia. There's a trip. Umpire's going to pay now, a little bit high. And the free kick's going to go South Australia's way, and it'll go to Rogers. Rogers almost directly on the half-back flank. Right foot drop punt. Kernahan from behind. 2 grabs, 3 grabs. Couldn't come to the ground. Nailey's the one underneath the pack. The handball comes out in the direction of Platten. Platten's kicks a shocker. Puts Linder under a bit of pressure. There's a chance now for the opposition to get it out, but they can't. There's a chance now for South Australia to get the easy goal off the boot here of McGuinness. Has he got it? Yes, it looks all right. And South Australia have notched their second in about 60 seconds. 10.5 minutes have gone of the quarter. And South Australia have put their second on the board. And the 3 Rovers were involved in that. Platten to work it up, and then McGuinness and also Nailey both featured there. They're going to be the 3 players that are going to cause havoc for New South Wales. Well, New South Wales on that half-back line, Neil, for a moment, looked to have all the time in the world to get rid of that ball, and fundamental errors let the South Australians in. Yes, if you make a fumble against these boys, they'll pick it up quickly.
I think you've got to say, too, that McDermott, the skipper, is doing a great job for South Australia, isn't he?
Oh, he does that every week, though. He's a great player.
He's had 4 kicks and a couple of hand passes so far. Micken against Byrne. Byrne got that one down towards Scott, but he fumbled the ball. Byrne's there messing about at centre field, but can't get it out properly. Still fumbling. And the umpire's letting things go. They're not balling it up at all. There was no progress made by either side, and the umpire will ball it up down towards the New South Wales centre half forward position. It'll be Byrne against Micken again. Well, he gave him a bump, but the umpire said OK as Nailey gets a high kick back there towards the centre of the ground again, pushed out by Byrne. Still plenty of players there. Rogers tries to crash his way through the pack for South Australia. He was grabbed too high, and Rogers to take the free kick out there towards the wing. He goes for a hand pass. It's OK, and it's driven down there by South Australia over their half-forward line. And there's a great mark to Kernahan. So Kernahan out there on the half-forward line, about 75 metres out from goal, goes for a short pass over the head of Cordy. Cordy comes in, backs up well, does a bit of juggling on the ground, taps it back there to Danaher. And, of course, that's Tony Danaher, and couldn't pick it up in time. It's still out of bounds, about 50 metres around from the South Australian goal. South Australia 2 goals, 12 points. The New South Wales yet to score. 12.5 minutes gone, and New South Wales kicking with a pretty strong win. At the back was Rogers. The umpires found a free kick, and it will go there to Big Micken. So that's Micken going for a short one, looking for Bradley. He's found him okay, and Bradley's got the mark at half forward.
He's opened very well, Bradley, Lou.
4 kicks so far. Brilliant player, Bradley. Played some great football for Carlton. There's a short one, and backing up again as we see Kernahan not doing a bad job either. It's his 4th mark so far, and we've only played about 13 minutes. The ball drops short, and there's a mark taken by New South Wales Murphy. There's a chance now for Cordy to clear the ball back towards the centre wing position. Players set themselves. The ball punched out that time by Burgess. But New South Wales backing up well, but not good enough, and the ball is out of bounds on the centre wing position. Into the quarter by 13.5 minutes. South Australia 2 goals, 12 points to New South Wales yet to score, and they're kicking with a pretty strong win.
Ball on centre wing, grandstand side of the ground. Punched out in the direction of the half-back line. Picked up a quick kick there by Burgess. Is high, but it's gone over the line on the full. Clayton a little bit late on the scene here. New South Wales want to get it moving quickly through the agency here of Murphy. Does so to centre half forward. 2 South Australian players went up and sport one another. Good tackle put on Abernathy on that occasion. Ball comes to ground. Umpire calls play on. Here's the chance now. A fumbling old hand pass, but Micken picks it up well. Almost a throw. Umpires on the blind side of him. Platten from behind this occasion and will give away the free kick. Will go South Australia or New South Wales way, and they want to move it quickly. They do just that to half forward, and the mark picked up on this occasion here by Hawke. Paul Hawke should drive this ball long. He doesn't. Goes short. Oh, almost snapped in and does. Picked up that time by Morfitt. He swings it in towards the square. Who's at home? Ball comes to the ground. A chance here to defend. It's Rogers. Uses plenty of weight in the square. Bumps his opponent Danaher out of the way quite easily. Ball's out wide. The race is on. 1-on-1. Grab without the ball. Umpire will pay the free kick and will go in the direction of McDermott. Plays the advantage rule. And South Australia use it to a nicety. Down here looking for Lindner.
Yes.
And he's almost grabbed it, in my opinion. Umpire says, yes, I'll let you have that one. And just behind on that occasion was Whitney. Lindner's off. Drives it in quickly. Who's at home? Is it going to go over the back of the pack? Platten's there lurking. It comes to the ground. New South Wales have the chance, but they're going to put it over the line and out of bounds some 50 metres around. It looked like Tui it was that put that one over the line.
Good pressure by the South Australian forwards. They're really making those New South Wales backs work hard.
Well, they're looking good now, South Australia. Short pass, that's okay. And a mark taken here by Stretch. Now he's about 45 to 50 metres out. Could easily kick this if he goes for the long kick. He's dropped it short. Ball punched on by Byrne, and it's out of bounds against the point post for South Australia.
Good spot to be there for South Australia, Lou. They can work another goal out of this.
Waiting for the ball to come back into play again. Kernahan and Byrne. Pat Platten goes down. The umpire said it'll be a ball up again about 15 metres out from the South Australian goal. They're 2 goals, 12 points, kicking against a strong breeze. 15.5 minutes gone to New South Wales yet to score. Knocked out by Byrne. There's a chance for Murphy. Well intercepted by Stretch, and the ball is out of bounds. This time it's about 30 metres around from the South Australian goal. Well, it's the deck again. Stretch comes in to pick it up. He does so. Out there at half full, but it's a shocking kick, and that will just about fall short. And a mark taken here by New South Wales Murphy. This is Murphy with the ball now, short of half back. Not the most exciting game in the world at the moment. His kick is across to centre field. Danaher flew, couldn't hold the mark. I think the umpire will pay the mark, and that will go to Tui of New South Wales at centre half back. Goes for a short pass. It'll be okay. And this is Anthony Danaher with the ball for New South Wales.
Tony Danaher drives it in towards the centre of the ground. Finds teammate here in Scott. Scott will go back and take a deliberate kick towards centre half forward. Of course, the breeze favouring this end of the ground. Oh, it's a ball burster too. That's travelled 55 metres down towards the centre half forward position. Caught with the ball. Umpire calls play on. Desperation down there by both sides. Surely a whistle on play, and there is. We'll see a bounce down emanate some 30 metres out from their attacking zone. Ball about to go down, as Lou said before. Not the best game of football to watch at the moment, but it's tight, it's tough. It's all very well to sit up here and criticise, I suppose. Stacks on the mill again. And Yorgie's underneath that pack for the New South Wales side. The umpire comes into direct traffic yet again.
That breeze would make it very difficult for the players to judge that ball tonight. There's going to be a lot of scrambly play.
Bounce down takes place 35 metres out from the New South Wales goal. They drive it forward. A wobbly kick comes off the end of the boot there of Danaher. It was Chris on that occasion. The three brothers playing tonight in Chris, Terry and Tony. The ball's gone over the line about 2 or 3 metres around from their behind post.
Waiting for the ball to come back into play. A chance for New South Wales to score. The ball hits the deck going through as McDermott. He's crashed to the ground. They pile on top of him and the umpire will ball it up. Well, he's a player that sets an example as a skipper, doesn't he?
He's always at the bottom of the pack, this boy.
Well, we saw a great captain's game by Dale Waitman on Wednesday night. There's a chance now, a snap at goal, but it's off target. That time was pushed through by Morfitt.
Very important time for South Australia now. They want to keep New South Wales goalless this quarter.
Well, that's their first score for the match, New South Wales, coming at the 17.5-minute mark there. 1 point to South Australia, 2 goals, 12 points. There we see Corns, Graham Corns, the South Australian coach. He'd be pretty pleased seeing they're kicking against a strong breeze. Scored 2 goals. Byrne at the back goes the big punch. Comes back in out of Yorkie. Going across that time was Burgess. Couldn't pick the ball up. And it's out of bounds. But at least it's still in the New South Wales attacking zone, only about 40 metres around from their goal. There's Micken in front, doing battle there with Coleman. Ball comes out now. They can't get through the pack. They're all having a bit of a dip here, but the umpire's found a free kick to New South Wales. And it'll go to Danaher. This is Terry Danaher, the skipper.
Well, he's kicked a lot of these goals, Lou, in his time.
Well, yes, and he's an experienced player. He's been a great player for Essendon. Great leader. Waiting on Terry Danaher from about 25 metres out on a slight angle. Let's see what the skipper can do. And he shredded that right through the middle. Well, there we see the scores.
Ball back in centre field again, almost into red time. Time on here at Football Park. South Australia play New South Wales. South Australia, 2 scoring shots, 2 straight scoring shots. 12 behind New South Wales. They've had 2 also, but they're 1-1-7. Free kick goes in the direction of Platten.
Well, Scott threw that one for sure. He wasn't too happy about the decision.
Okay, let's see what Platten can do with this one. Almost in the centre of the ground. This is his 4th kick. It's high. Up there looking for Kernahan at the back of the pack. Couldn't get there. Puts out the long fist, but underneath it's McGuinness. He's tackled quickly, but South Australia get the ball forward. All on his own is Bradley. Drops a sitter. Should have taken that one. Has a chance now to get it out in the direction of a teammate, and they run it in towards the centre of the square, but there's nobody home on this occasion. New South Wales. The handball comes out here from Tony Danaher. Again, scrambling football leg. The umpire calls play on. They drive it towards centre wing, waiting at the back of the pack. South Australia, they get the easy mark, drive it in towards the centre over the top of Kernahan. All met the New South Wales player on that occasion, bundled out of the way quickly. Here's a chance for Thrift to get the long handball out. Does. Now they've got the runners up along centre wing, drive it towards centre half forward. A good mark taken there by Coleman. And the big fellow has got the wind behind him here. He's a good 55 metres out from goal. Glenn Coleman, but the ball should float pretty well down into their attacking zone. Time running out from the quarter, almost over. It's gone over the top of the pack and it's going to go out of bounds some 1.5 metres around from that behind post. 21 minutes gone of the quarter. Only 20-minute quarters here plus time on. In this bicentennial carnival, New South Wales have the chance to get a quick score on the board. Time running out for them. 12 plays 7. Trying to crash his way through the pack as Danaher kicked off the ground, another behind, so they now go on to a 1-2-8 to South Australia, 2 straight goals.
Well, at least they're back in the game. They were looking as though they could have got kicked off the ground there for a while, but they're back in the game now with some sort of chance.
22 minutes gone. There won't be much time on this first quarter. There's a chance now for the ball to be driven out there towards the centre wing position. And it's stretched, sending South Australia back into attack. It's a beautiful pass, and there's a mark taken here now by Linder. He's well out from goal. He'd be about 45 metres out. He puts it across to the centre of the goals. A chance now for Naylor to grab that, but backing up well as McGuinness. Right on his back is Toohey. The umpire called play on. The ball pushed out by Morfitt, juggled by Toohey. And it's the ball driven up there by Carroll towards the centre of the ground. Punched out again, that time by Whittlesey. There's a go for Bradley Borks. He was caught. He's down the second time as he tried to get clear. Good play that time by Danaher. And there's the Sar to win the first quarter. And we see South Australia, 2 goals, 12 points. And New South Wales, 1 goal, 2 8 points.
Welcome back to Football Park. Great shot there from the air from the National 9 helicopter of Football Park. Let's have a look at the quarter-time scores in a moment. We'll have them for you. There we are. 2 goals straight South Australia to 1-2 New South Wales. 1 extra scoring shot, but having a look at it, Neil, that first quarter was pretty scrambly between both sides. And New South Wales, I think, did pretty well to come back and have that 1 extra scoring shot, even though they are trailing.
Yes, I think Tommy Hafey realised the only chance New South Wales have got of winning this football match is to keep constant pressure on the South Australian smaller brigade and also their playmakers. They weren't able to do that in the first quarter, but they did it better towards the end of the quarter and got back in the game. But I think South Australia definitely have an edge. Kernahan's dominant. Their little men are playing well. At this stage, they're certainly favoured. Yeah,
Kernahan has kept Carroll right out of the game. Let's cross down to ground level at the moment. Of course, Stephen Phillips and Barry Breen.
Thank you, Rob. Graham Corn's very encouraged by that first quarter. He wants the forward line kept wide open. He feels they can kick 10 goals with a win.
Tommy certainly was encouraged by that first quarter, Stephen. Most upset with the way they used the ball. Wants the New South Wales players to move, work harder and get to where the fall of the ball is. Back to you, Rob.
Start of the second quarter. South Australia 4 points in front. There's a chance now as the ball is driven up there by Whittlesey over towards their half-forward line. Ball hits the deck. Coming into meet it now is Wright. Right of New South Wales can't get clear. This is Danaher, Anthony Danaher up there on that half-forward line. It's a good pass marked by Scott. Scott sends them deep into attack. A chance now for Brownless. Got under that one. Grabbed right on the line that time by Morpeth, but the hand pass was a bad one. He was swamped by the South Australians and the ball is out of bounds. So it's out of bounds about 70 metres around from the New South Wales goal. That took 1 goal, 8 points to South Australia, 2 goals, 12 points. Knocked out by Micken again, right in the band there, couldn't get clear. Platten's there right on his back and the umpire said it's out of bounds again. Still about 65 metres around from the Blues goal. Be Micken against Browns. Knocked out by Micken, grabbed by McDermott. He's been a great player so far in the first quarter. Still on the boundary line and it's finally forced out again. A very scrambly game of football and possibly, as Neil Curley mentioned before, the breeze very, very strong out here at Football Park, and it must be pretty difficult for the players to handle it, Neil.
It certainly wouldn't be easy.
Ball off the top of the pack. Chance for Yorgi to give a hand pass back there to Danaher, as that's Terry Danaher sending the ball up towards the full forward position. Bounced the wrong way for Coleman. Finally picked up by Pays. A left footer, not a good one, and it's out of bounds on the full, so New South Wales have got a very big chance to go deep into attack now. The free kick to go out of here to Thrip. Thrip's right on the boundary line, it's his 4th kick, about 50 metres out. Mark dropped that time by Morwood. Oh, there's a chance to get clear this time by Danaher again, but he's skidded across the ground. The ball is finally forced out again. It'll be a penalty free kick to go down there to Whittlesey. Whittlesey of South Australia to take that kick in the back pocket. South Australia 2 goals, 12 points to New South Wales 1 goal, 8 points. Into this second quarter by just over 2 minutes.
Whittlesey, a good kick up towards centre wing. Punch from the back there by Byrne to the ground. Umpires put a whistle on play. It'll go New South Wales direction. See who the free kick will go to.
They've made a change in their attack, South Australia. Kernahan a full forward, Russell to centre half forward.
Scott's the recipient of the free kick, drives it long. Good kick into the win, actually. Looking for Brownless in front. Yes, Billy Brownless has taken the mark some 25 metres out from goal. Now, they really need this fella to fire up forward, in my opinion, Neil. He's a young boy, of course, originally from Jerilderie. Came down to Geelong. He's been riddled with injuries. You can see on the replay there, Brownless in front, 1 grab to the ground, 30 metres out from goal. Let's see what he can do with it. Usually a pretty reliable kick. Brownless' kick swung across. As soon as you praise them up, it works the other way, doesn't it?
Always swings across on that. They must aim for this right-hand goal post.
All right. 9 plays 12. New South Wales are having the scoring shots, but not capitalising. South Australia from the back pocket. High kick for the agency of the breeze. Big punch from behind there by Byrne. Comes to ground. Brownless is first to it. Gets it across to teammate there in Yorgi. Yorgi's kick is high. It's holding up. 1-on-1 in the goal square. Comes to the ground. Here's a chance now for them through Morford. Can't do a lot with it. It wasn't Morford. It was Chris Danaher. Going to have a ball with these tonight. Louis, the 3 of them. Chris, Terry and Tony. From up here, there's not much between them, actually. Bounce down. Right at the edge of the square. Micken it was that got the tap down, went in the direction of New South Wales and forced through for another behind.
They've opened well, New South Wales, this quarter. They're putting a lot of pressure on.
Against the breeze. bring the ball back into play again. South Australia. Hughes, fullback. Right foot drop punt. Straight up the centre of the ground. Just a little wide of the diamond. Actually, it swung across with a breeze. Here's a chance now for his teammate Stretch. Actually, the two Melbourne players combining. The kick's high towards the back of the square. In front, Lindner couldn't get it to the ground. The handball comes out to Platten. Cleverly dodges around. All run into more trouble than you could wish for. And the umpire's going to put a whistle on play. He's giving it against Platten. Well, I don't know. It's all very well to criticise up here, but they came from everywhere. Johnny Platten, he ran into one wall, turned the other way, ran into another one. But it's gone. To have a look on the replay there. Cop one pretty high. I thought he was a bit stiff. But it's play on. It's towards centre half forward. The big arms go up to the ground. New South Wales have got the crummers at the moment. The boot comes in there from Stretch. We'll see what's going to happen. The free kick will go New South Wales direction. It looks like Maud on that far side of the ground. Maud has a chance to put it right down into the square. The right foot drop punt on its way. Looking down there for the full forward. No one at home. Terry Danaher was in front of the pack. Stacks in the middle, trying to get it out. Picked up quickly there by High Fireland. Still Stacks in the middle, very, very scrambly. Surely he'll put a whistle on play.
Geez, some pressure. Ball up. There's some pressure there, though. Those players have got a split second to try and do something with the ball.
Well, we're into the quarter by 5 minutes, and it's 12 points South Australia to New South Wales. 1 goal, 9 points, and doing a pretty good job against the wind. As Strip grabs the ball, a little bit slow to get really got a hand pass out. Coming out as plays. Gets it over now to Bradley. Bradley with a long kick down there towards the half-forward line. Lindner just about throttled Cordy that time, but Tui comes in to try and up. Linder's all over his back, and he'll get a free kick to him. So New South Wales doing a pretty good job, because we thought they'd run away with it in this quarter, South Australia. But this is Wright coming around the wing position with a couple of bounces. Drives the ball up towards half-forward. And a good mark taken here by South Australia. As they say, oh, by golly, did he cop a heavy one that time? Burgess. He got it full force in the face that time, but the free kick will go downfield. And to take the free kick will be Russell. Russell sends it up looking for Kernahan to hit the sit that time, all over the top of Winton.
This is what they've planned, South Australia. The quick kick into Kernahan, where his height should be too strong for their fullback.
Well, he's got the happy knack of positioning himself so well as he did that time to take that mark. Now, he'd only be about 20 metres out from goal on a very slight angle. And they badly need this goal because they're kicking with a very strong breeze. New South Wales have had most of the play in this first 6.5 minutes of the second quarter. They're waiting for this kick of Kernahan. There she is on its way, and that looks a good one to me. It's a goal.
Play underway again after that centre bounce. Micken, the big tap away. It's a little bit willing out there. 7.5 minutes gone of the quarter almost. Umpire about to put a bounce down. Almost centre field. Up the big arms of Micken go again, down to the ground, but there are players down there everywhere, very, very scrambly. Platten emerges underneath with the ball, and as was the case last night, the little players underneath the packs doing a lot of the damage. Platten, Stevie Wright. Interesting situation tonight, Louis. Of course, these players that we see in their respective club Guernseys at times tend to baffle you out there. They get it out into the open spaces. Here's a chance now here for Morwood. Couldn't trap it in. Pushed over the line, out of bounds by Paul Hawke. 18 plays 9. Almost 8 minutes gone of this second quarter. Lindner, Kernahan and McGuinness all have 1 for South Australia. The goal kickers for New South Wales are Morford and Danaher. There's a chance now for them down towards their forward zone. Desperation thrown down there by South Australia towards the centre square. Oh, the bounce has beaten New South Wales. It's gone to the advantage of Naylor, but he couldn't do a lot with it. Crashing through as McGuinness. Good football. Someone telling him he's got plenty of time to get rid of it, and he has, and that one looks like it's split the woodwork. Good football from McGuinness. Plenty of teammates up the ground talking to him and telling him what he can do. So they go to 4 straight goals.
Scramble there at centre field. Into the quarter by just on 9.5 minutes. 4 goals straight, 24 points South Australia to New South Wales. 1 goal, 3-9. And they're starting to look good now as a hand pass from Naylor comes out, and the ball driven up that time by Abernathy over their half-forward line. Oh, getting up before acceptance that time was Russell Cordy. Fumbled the ball. There we see a hand pass from Lindner. Fumbling going on out there on that half-forward line. Scott got onto the back of his opponent, but the umpire will ball it up about 50 metres out from the South Australian goal. They're kicking with a very strong breeze in this second quarter, blowing just about directly down the ground. There's Stretch spinning out of the pack over to his skipper in McDermott up towards the full forward position. Winter couldn't hold the mark, but backing up well at the back of the pack was Tui. Tui goes for a short pass, looking for Thripp. It's a bit wide. It'll beat him and the ball is out of bounds. Still on that half-forward line for South Australia. This time it's about 70 metres around from their goal. Just on 10.5 minutes gone. 20-minute quarters with time on. Well, he couldn't get that quarter. He comes down to Thripp, went without the ball. This allows pace to be upended. Down goes Russell, and Russell will get a free kick for one in the back.
Not quite quick enough for his hands tonight, Page. He's got to get that ball moving faster.
Russell out there on that half-forward line, about 60 metres out from goal. Pretty acute angle. Making plenty of time, lining him up. Eyes on the ball. And there she is on its way. Into the goal square. Kernahan in front, flies, got his hands but couldn't hold the mark. Well rove that time by Wright. Wright for New South Wales, looking for Tui. In comes Stretch, picks it up nicely for a big fella. Hand pass coming back to Burgess. Burgess' kick is a long one for Kernahan again. On his back that time was Winton, but it's through for 1 point. So that's their first point of the night. After 11 minutes into the second quarter, South Australia now 4 goals, 1-25 to New South Wales. 1 goal, 9 points.
New South Wales drive it out towards centre wing, grandstand side, Stacks in the middle over the top of the ball there for the South Australian team, which pays. The umpire is going to call for a bounce down. Russell, Nailey, Morford in there for New South Wales. Big burn goes up, comes to the ground, crashing his way through there was McDermott. Came in the direction here of Scott, though. His kick was a short one. The mark's gone there to Danaher. Didn't travel far enough. Umpire calls play on straight in the arms of Bradley. Bradley gets it moving. It's high in the air. Platten flies from behind. Almost brought it to the ground too, and struggles. Desperate football, Johnny Platten, underneath the ground, underneath the ball there on that occasion.
Well, Platten would have been better off staying down that time, I thought, Neil.
Yes, there was no big man there. He had to make a quick decision.
2-on-1. Platten has kept it in their scoring zone. Kernahan tried to punch it. Good weight being used. Danaher picks it up with a right foot drop punt towards centre field. All players go through without it. Picked up here for New South Wales by Morwood. Now they've got the loose man to the open spaces. Danaher, Terry on this occasion. Terry finds Brownless 50 metres out from goal, and Bill Brownless has a chance now to put his first on the board. Is he going to drive it long because he's going to the breeze, or is he going to look for the lead up forward? Making a move there for him was O'Donoghue. Brownless going to take a deliberate shot. Almost, if there was a 50-metre line there, that's where it would be. It's a good kick, falling short. Almost a mark to New South Wales, wasn't paid. Came to the ground, handball there from Coleman. Here's a chance for them again. The handball's on. It comes out in the direction here of Morwood. Morwood swings on the right boot. Let's have a look at this one. I think that's offline for mine. Yes, it's gone through from behind. So New South Wales now move on to 1-4-10. South Australia 4-1-25. And we've reached the 13-minute mark of this second quarter.
Waiting for the ball to come back into play. It'll be Danny Hughes to bring it in. Goes for a short pass. It's okay, and a good mark taken here by Abernathy. Abernathy out there at half-back, actually short of half-back as he kicks the ball high towards the wing position. Ball punched out by Russell, picked up that time by Morford up towards centre half forward. Now the umpire has found a free kick. And the free kick will go to Big Johnson. He gets a 15-metre penalty. This brings him right up to the centre of the ground, so he should send this down well over the half-forward line. Linda in front, the ball knocked to the deck now. McDermott gets a kick smothered. There's a chance now for New South Wales to break clear, and the ball comes out towards the wing position. Punched on again by Morford. Good play as he spins out of the pack. So does York. He goes for a hand pass, but to put his team under pressure. Picked up again by Morford, backing up well, and he sends it out to Brownless with a perfect pass there. Now Brownless would still be 50 metres out, and he hasn't been kicking that well or not. He's had a couple of chances. They badly need this goal because they're kicking against a very strong breeze. The ball lingers in there, doesn't quite make the distance. Great play on the part of Whittlesey that time, a real save. A magnificent effort that time by the South Australian defender.
Yes, he had to do it.
So it's 4 goals, 1-25 South Australia. There it is in replay again, a fantastic effort to New South Wales, 1 goal, 5-11. Another scrimmage out there. Stretch throws it out. The ball knocked on by Naylor. There's a hand pass coming out from Scott over there to Hawke. Hawke drops it short, looking for Tony Morwood, but well played by Burgess again, and the ball is forced out of bounds.
It'll be a good battle, Burgess-Morwood. They're both very good players.
Well, South Australia not getting it all their own way. They're putting up a pretty good show, New South Wales, even though it's not the greatest game in the world. Ball short pass coming there looking for Brownless. Danny Hughes on the ways and shows a lot of aggression as he goes through the pack as he drives it out there towards the centre wing position. Punched on by McDermott. A hand pass comes out towards the centre of the ground. Going after it was Coleman, I think it was. Couldn't get clear, no. And finally back it goes to Kernahan. That was Winton with him then as the ball comes back there towards that half-back line. Picked up again by Whittlesey. He was slung to the ground. And there's Byrne going for a long kick for the Blues. Up towards their full forward position. Flying high. Coleman goes after. That was Brownless over the pack. Back it goes again. Over it goes this time to O'Donnell, who couldn't get close. It was Danaher. That was Chris Danaher. Back it goes now to Moore. A shot at goal. That would be a goal.
.25 plays 17, ball back in the centre of the ground. South Australia get it forward, looking for Kernahan. Fumble, pushed forward by the New South Wales team. Crashing his way through the pack there was Hawke. Gets it high, holding up on the wind. Players underneath the ball on that occasion. It's a little bit of guts and determination to go looking straight up in the air there. Anything can come from any side. Now's the chance for the New South Wales team to go forward through Scott. Kicks it in towards the edge of the square. In front, South Australia couldn't bring it to the ground. Big Johnson, there's a fair amount of him. The Crummers there, Morford. Morford's kicked to centre half forward. Good mark picked up on that occasion by Terry Danaher. Now, unfortunately for the New South Wales team, Neil Curley, every time they get the ball within this vicinity, it just tends to hold up a little bit. Would you be telling Bill Brownless probably not to come up as far up the ground if he was leading like this all night?
Well, I guess he's got to give him something to aim at. And his movement may take him out of his range, but he's got to do it, and then they've got to fill him behind him.
All right, let's see what Terry Danaher can do with it. This is his 6th kick.
He should
45 metres out.
Should just reach.
Okay, Danaher's kick. Let's have a look at it. It doesn't look too bad. Goal umpire signals all clear, is it? Yes, it's a goal. So New South Wales put their 3rd on the board.
Well, it's South Australia in plenty of troubles. We see New South Wales ready to go back into attack again, this time through Danaher. Terry Danaher doing a great job, and that's Brownless with the mark. Now he's about 50 metres out again. He hasn't made the distance. He's had a couple of chances to kick goal from about this position before. Let's see what he can do with this one. There she is on its way. That's a long kick, and it's a magnificent goal by Brownless. And New South Wales have hit the front. 4 goals, 125 South Australia to New South Wales. Looking pretty good. 4 goals, 5-29. And this, let's hope, well, it could be a boiler. I'm not taking sides.
Oh, no, it's early days yet, Lou, but New South Wales boys, they're really playing well. They're starting to get right into this game. Around the packs, they're working harder. Brownless is giving Danny Hughes a real tight time. Of course, Terry Danaher at centre half forward's doing well. So those South Australian defenders, particularly Hughes and Rogers, they've got to tighten up.
Terry Danaher doing a great job. 7 kicks so far, centre half forward, just on 19 minutes gone of this second quarter, and South Australia in plenty of bother. 25 plays, 29 in favour of New South Wales. They go back into attack again. They'll get a free kick here. And it's a mark, I should say, to Terry Danaher. Short kick, it's okay. And they're looking good. And that's Tony Moore having a long shot. Brownless getting into position. Oh, what a mark by Billy Brownless. A magnificent mark. He's pulled it down right on the edge of the kick-off mark. He'd have to fall over to miss this one.
Burgess no good for South Australia.
It's his 5th mark for the match. And he's got a chance of scoring. Let's see what he can do with this one. Lines them up. And Brownless has put it through for another, and New South Wales go further ahead. 4 goals, 125. Towards the wing position, there's a chance now for Morford to drop it to the short. And there's a go again as they go back into attack. This time it's little Murphy going for a long run over the half-forward line. Running shot at goal. This could be dangerous. Oh, golly, Brownless got his hands to it, but hit the post. I reckon he'd have marked that if he hadn't crashed into the post.
Oh, that would have hurt, Lou.
Wouldn't mind having a look at this on replay. Let's have a look at Brownless. You'll see him crash right into the post here. Up over the top of the pack. Ooh,
I reckon he was going to grab it, don't you?
That would have hurt him, Lou.
Okay, ball back into centre field. The big hands there go up of Bubner. Bubner takes the mark for South Australia. Out to the open spaces. Platten's got plenty of real estate to cover. He doesn't. Puts it onto the boot, drives it in short towards half forward. South Australia have missed the opportunity, but they're going to get the free kick. The free kick here goes in the direction of Abernathy. Abernathy will drive it inboard. Right foot drop punt on its way. It's going to edge of the square looking for Kernahan. He's behind the pack, but well judged, Mark. We'll say it's well judged. I think it was poor judgment by the players in front of him, but Kernahan's picked this one up. Now, he's already one goal to his credit. It was in this quarter. He's only some 30 metres out from goal. Umpire's putting him round on an angle. This is his 6th kick.
It's the Russell's wild leap then blinded the New South Wales boys.
I think it was a tactic too, wasn't it?
Let's have a look and see what Kernahan can do. 11 scoring shots to 5. The game has swung in New South Wales' favour. Kernahan's kick, a shocker off the side of the boot. Is it going to go through behind? Yes, it is. Almost out of bounds on the full. Well, those opportunities, Neil Curley, you cannot let out of your system.
Well, you don't like letting them out, but of course, New South Wales had 11 shots to South Australia's 6, so they've missed a lot of shots themselves.
Okay, a lot of traffic at centre half forward. The players running in all directions. Comes out over the top of the pack. Couldn't bring it to the ground there, Tui. Now a chance for New South Wales to go forward off the boot of Scott. It's a wobbly old kick out into the open spaces, and it's going to be players over the line and out of bounds through centre wing position.
Actually, they're working the ball better out the pack now, New South Wales. They're out roving South Australia.
Well, it's been a good quarter for them because that wind is favouring the South Australian side. It's sprung up since that first quarter. 36 plays 26, 10-point deficit, but it's favouring New South Wales at the moment. Ball on the far side of the ground. Murphy picks up the free kick. They drive it towards centre half forward. A little bit of nudging out there by Terry Danaher. Had a good game of football so far, Danaher, but the free kick's going to go the opposite way this time, and it looks like it'll go to Bubner.
Bubner's done well on Danaher. 2 times now the ball's come in. He's got both of them.
15-metre penalty to Bubner. Peter Bubner drives it forward to centre half forward. From behind on that occasion, almost dragging it over the top was Russell. Couldn't do so. To the mill, or to the ground. Stacks on the mill it was. Platten was underneath it. For the open spaces, there's a free kick going South Australia's way, and the player to take it will be McDermott. They've got a chance now to drive it down. 23.5 minutes gone of the quarter. 6th kick for him. Early was Lynn. Great mark. I said a little bit earlier on in the quarter, we know him for his high-flying attributes. Now let's see what he can do with this one. That's his 4th mark. The siren goes to end the second quarter. Now let's see what he can do with it. A chance to get a score right on the siren. 4-2-26 plays 5-6-36. Plenty of pressure on Bruce Lindner. Let's have a look at it. Kick on its way. It's going to hold up high. Will it make the distance? I don't think it will. And would have been a handy one right on the siren. Neil Curley, are they going to pay the behind? I don't think they will. So 27 plays 36.
Yes, they'll pay the behind. That was bad defensive play by New South Wales.
Well, it's 9 points the difference, and of course a great second quarter by New South Wales, because they were kicking against a strong breeze, and everybody here, I'm quite sure, thought that South Australia would get a bundle of goals in that second quarter. But you've got to give New South Wales a lot of credit for the way they fought back. Terry Danaher was magnificent at centre half forward, and they were getting plenty of drive from the centre with Scott. And a player that impressed me very much with New South Wales was number 12, Morford, doing a pretty good job around the packs. And of course, not forgetting Billy Brown. Listen, I still reckon when he went for that last mark, if he hadn't hit the goal post, he would have grabbed it.
Yes.
And that would have put him really under the hammer, South Australia. So they've got the task ahead of them now, because in this third quarter, they come out and they're kicking against the breeze. So at half-time, I should say, at South Australia, 4 goals, 3-27 to New South Wales in front. The surprise of the evening, 5 goals, 6-36.
Park, where we really have got a game of football on our hands. New South Wales, a magnificent second quarter. Fight back after having a lot of trouble in the first quarter. Let's have a look at the half-time scores there. 2 goals in the first quarter to South Australia. They only had another 2 in the second. So 4-3-27 plays 5-6-36. That's a lead to New South Wales. It really has been a bit of a shock to everyone, I suppose, but Tommy Hafey, he's got his boys fired up, and they've hit the ball pretty hard, and the players, and they deserve that lead. Now, one of the guys out there, Johnny Platten, got plenty of fans here at Footy Park tonight, including Mum, 8 brothers and sisters, and last year's Brownlow medalist, Anne-Marie Sparkman, had a bit of a look at him yesterday.
2 years ago, one of South Australia's hottest football properties, John Platten, made the big move across the border and took the VFL by storm, winning the ultimate prize, the Brownlow Medal, in only his second Victorian season. But while the small rover with those distinctive Shirley Temple locks is now a hero in Melbourne, he still misses his hometown Adelaide. After all, when you've got 5 brothers and 3 sisters and 12 nieces and nephews, there's always a big welcome home.
I certainly miss it because, probably because of the family and that, but, I've got a job to do over in Melbourne and I want to get that done and be satisfied over there and maybe one day I'll come back. I don't know when.
But without doubt, the #1 member of the Platten fan club is his mum, Kath. She almost bursts with pride.
Well, I suppose I, sort of just hope he doesn't get hurt, and I just play every ball that he plays, and as I said, he just, as he said, we're just so proud of him. We just love to see him play football.
But Platt's enormous success has not gone to that curly head. He reckons his wife Jackie and the rest of the Platten clan keep his feet firmly on the ground.
No, you can't get big head around this place because you just get it right off. I think, it's... No, I know we're fairly close to a family. We're down to earth. There's nothing special about us. We're just people with the same as 2 arms and 2 legs, and that's what we like to be. No one's big in their way. That's the way it is, and that's the way I like to be.
Well, a great family and a great champion. And we get a chance now to talk to a former champion, Mr. Football himself, Ted Whitten. Downstairs, he's with Stephen Phillips.
Thanks, Maxie. Well, no 2 men really embody the spirit of interstate football quite like Ted Whitten and Neil Knuckles Curley. It's great to see you guys together here on Football Park. It was an arena you didn't ever get to play on, Ted.
No, I didn't play a game on this arena. Very nice arena, of course, but the Adelaide Oval brings back a lot of memories with my friend here.
29 games for Victoria and Neil, 32 for South Australia. Some great tussles over the years.
A lot of fun. It was good footy in those days. If you had a problem with a guy on the ground, you could sort it out amongst yourselves. The umpires went on with umpiring the business, but nowadays, of course, with the 2 umpire system, you can't do that. But we had a lot of fun, and after the game, a lot more fun.
Yeah, sure, yeah, it was good football. Oh, look, over the years, and I just think watching this carnival so far, seeing all these guys and all the clubs and states together again, it brings back memories of carnivals, and I think for the good of football throughout Australia, carnivals are a must to be played. Not always here in South Australia, but in different states.
You always seem to have the edge over South Australia. There was one day, however, wasn't there?
Oh, in a losing side? Yes, I played in a losing side on the Adelaide Oval coming back from Western Australia a few years ago.
Long trip on the train?
Well, it was a long trip on the train, but nevertheless, South Australia were far too good for us on that particular day, and I think Neil remembers that very well because there wasn't many occasions in those days that they had the pleasure of beating Victoria. It was good football, though, I must admit.
They weren't. Victoria were too strong in those days. We had to admit that. They had the power, they had the players, and their game was better than ours, and unfortunately, we used to get kicked off the ground quite often.
There was a lot of blood spilt on the South Australian Oval, and I know there's a lot of mine, and if you can show them those knuckles, if you don't mind, just show them your knuckles, will you? Turn them up, have a look at them. He's got one for every finger.
He didn't cop you in any of those matches, did he, Ted?
Oh, no, look, we all had a go. We played football hard in those days, and it was tough football, but these guys today, they're super athletes, and they're far fitter than we ever were, but it's a different ball game. It's a very quick game. It's a running game, isn't it now?
Speed, 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 all the time speed. In our day, it was more individual on individual. It was more, I think that's what the people like, the highlights of Whitten, Curley, but nowadays there's so much run in the game, it's packed football, but it's great footy.
Well, Ted, Neil, look forward to your comments during the rest of the game, Neil, and Ted, we'll look forward to talking to you, and good luck on Saturday night with the Victorians.
Before you go, can I just ask you, they're not going too flash tonight?
No, it's okay. Everything's under control.
But they're not going too flash?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. We'll be back with more action from Football Park after this short break.
price on the football pedigree gathered here in Adelaide for this bicentennial football carnival. 270 players, 10 teams, and I think one of the thoroughbreds here at the moment is Tommy Hafey, the coach of the New South Wales team. Anne-Marie Sparkman talked to him this morning about his chances of New South Wales toppling South Australia.
Early morning, Glenelg Beach, and a lone jogger is slogging it out. He's a familiar sight to many of us, that magnificent barrel chest of coaching veteran Tom Hafey. This week in Adelaide, Tom's job is to look after the New South Wales squad, and his credentials are impressive. Tom's coached more than 500 games, and between 1966 and 76 guided VFL club Richmond to 4 premierships. Since then, he's coached Collingwood and Geelong, and 2 years ago headed to New South Wales to take part in the birth of the Sydney Swans. The Swans have finished in the top 5 both years, but the pre-season doubt over just who will pick up the Swans tab this year and the loss of spearhead Warwick Capper has not helped club morale.
Yes, well, I suppose once the season starts, it'll be a different thing completely. We've still got a month to go, and I suppose at this stage there's been a lot of talk, but once the matches start, then you'll find the only thing that's being spoken about is how we're going.
Some may regard Hafey as an optimist, but he's hoping the New South Wales team can cause the upset of the carnival tonight when the underdogs take on the favourites, South Australia.
I think that will surprise a lot of people because, as mentioned, obviously they're going to be keyed up to do well against Victoria, and that's the way they'll be looking at it, and I think they probably could underestimate us. We've got a lot of emotion, we've got a lot of state pride, and we realise the importance for Australian rules football. How well we go in this particular match, it'll probably get a lot more converts, and I think we'll be taken a lot more seriously in New South Wales if we're to do well.
Well, it would be great for New South Wales if Tommy could get up and win, and they're in great shape. Barry, where do you reckon they did surprise the South Australians?
Well, I think it was the second quarter, Max, and at quarter time, Tom was most adamant that he wasn't happy with their first quarter. And their tenacity in that second quarter to work the ball into the breeze was the big factor. They had players at the fall of the ball, and where the ball was, they had blue jumpers. And I think that was the biggest single contributing factor to it. Also, they had 4 or 5 or 6 good players in that quarter, where South Australia certainly didn't have many at all.
Do you think they handled the breeze a bit better?
Well, I think they certainly moved the ball a bit better, and we'll probably see this on the replay now as we watch some of the highlights. And you'll just watch the number of players that do get to the ball, and this is in the second quarter here, and the New South Welshman just enjoyed that ball so hard. Bradley there had a good first half and one of the few South Australian good players. John Patton, fairly quiet early and needs to do a lot more in this third term if South Australia are going to get into this game. Strong mark there by Lyndon, and he was one of their few good players in the first quarter as well, but once again he got out of that game in the second half. Lyndon again handballing the ball across there to McDermott, the South Australian captain, and he, I think, is South Australia's best player to this stage. And another goal to the South Australians. Terry Tripp there over the line on the full, and probably wasn't one of New South Wales' better players in that first quarter. Scott, I thought, brought the New South Wales side back into the game in that second quarter with his disposal, and we all know that he's such a good user of the ball. Stevie right there just collecting Platten. Stephen Kernahan took a couple of grabs, but certainly not the Stephen Kernahan that we know can play so well for the Carlton club. And McGuinness here on a bad mistake by the Swans centre line there, and that was one of the few bright spots for South Australia in that quarter. Bill Brownless once again, and he's certainly providing a focal point for New South Wales up forward, and took some great marks and kicked 2 goals in that second term. Tony Moore also came into the game in that second quarter, and really South Australia have got their backs to the wall in this second half. New South Wales kicking with the breeze, their confidence moving along nicely. David Murphy there moving the ball down in that forward line. They had a lot of good players in that second quarter, New South Wales, and if I was Graham Corns, I'd be extremely worried. And there we have a look at the statistics, and you have a look at the possessions of New South Wales, 79 to 87, and their handballs 35 to 24. So one can see that New South Wales are certainly using the ball far better and getting the ball more often than South Australia.
Well, certainly, Barry, they've got their work cut out, South Australia, if they are going to hang on to that title as champs for Australia. Everyone thought that they'd go straight into the final on Saturday against the VFL, except Tommy and his boys. Well, let's slip down into the South Australian rooms now at the moment. Stephen Phillips is down there.
Thanks, Maxie, and the players are just heading out onto the ground now. But the local papers, of course, right through the week have touted the South Australians as the raging red-hot favourites. That's the big phrase here, to win not only this match against New South Wales, but against Victoria. And I tell you what, they are very, very stunned indeed.
Back here at Football Park, 27 plays 36. New South Wales, you've heard what Stephen has had to say about the South Australian side. We've summed up the situation pretty well, I thought. But New South Wales have the ascendancy at the moment. Can they go on? We'll find out shortly. We'll be back at Football Park with more action after this break. Welcome back to Football Park. This third quarter, New South Wales now have the breeze in their favour. 36 plays 27. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Neil Curley. A few moves have taken place out there.
Yes, Jarman to the middle, Hall to the forward pocket, Bradley to the wing.
Centre bounce down. See who gets the better of the knock. Big Mick, and he's had the better of the ruck work all night tonight. South Australia get the first touch, goes forward off the boot of Jarman, but underneath taking a well-judged mark there. Ball held up high, and it was Murphy to take the mark. Gets it out quickly here to teammate Tui. Tui's onto the boot. It's quick as a flash, but it's gone over the line and out of bounds on that far side of the ground. A free kick going in the direction of South Australia. Halfback flank on the mark there for New South Wales is Morwood. Ball is high, holding up into the wind. Thought there might have been a little bit of rain fall on Football Park tonight, but it stayed away. Conditions still ideal, apart from the wind. And New South Wales go forward through Yorgie. Yorgie's kick up here and finds Thrip. A nuggety little customer, this fellow.
Been pretty quiet tonight, just the same, Rob.
Let's see what Thrip can do with this one. New South Wales burst into attack. Gary Thrip on your screen.
He's certainly in kicking distance. He can kick this goal.
36 playing 27. Can they go further ahead? He's 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. The right foot drop punt on its way. The goal umpire goes across to signal one behind. But a good start to New South Wales. They have first blood on the board in the quarter.
Actually, New South Wales are looking very threatening. They're looking a dangerous side.
Danny Hughes brings the ball back into play, favouring the opposite side of the ground, as distinct from perhaps what we know at the MCG, where they come around the grandstand side. Good grab pulled in on that occasion there by Bubner. And plenty of weight being thrown around. Not backward and going forward there was Terry Danaher. The umpire comes in and a 15-metre penalty on Terry Danaher. Of course, their dad was to be down here tonight to have a look at his three sons play for New South Wales. He's had a little bit of water up there on the property. New South Wales decided to stay at home and do a bit of work on the farm. Into attack. Underneath the ball there was McGuinness. Couldn't do a lot with it. Out into the open spaces trying to control it. There was Hawke. Now he gets a quick kick. Doesn't travel too far. Pulled around the top of the neck. There was Tui. Must take the free kick. And Tui will take this free kick centre wing opposite side of the ground. Adelaide side.
Well, it's Tui with the ball now, and New South Wales, as Neil Curley said, are looking good. 5-7-37, 10 points in front to South Australia, 27 points. There's a chance now for Scott to get clear. He's been a pretty dangerous player. Platt gets clear this time. A hand pass coming over now over to Leslie. Leslie's kick is not a good one, and it's a mark taken here now by McGuinness. Wasn't a great kick, but he's got the ball, McGuinness. We've had plenty of passengers tonight. South Australia, the ball knocked out again. Platten breaks clear of the pack. A hand pass coming over to Jarman. Not a good kick. A bad was a grubber. But there's a chance now for the ball to go deep into attack. Up there by Abernathy. There's a go now for Linda running to an open goal. A hand pass coming over. Fumble that time by Payes. He got a chance to recover. He does and puts it through for a goal. I think the New South Welshman were claiming that it was touched, but the umpire not taking much notice of that. So it's 5 goals, 3-33, South Australia. South Australia could have been a bit lucky. We see Linda do a bit of fancy stepping to get the ball up there to Payes. He fumbles. That was an easy fumble too.
Oh, that was nearly a costly error, but he recovered okay, so I guess the goal stands.
Into the quarter by just on 3.5 minutes, 5-3-33, South Australia. I'll get it right, New South Wales, 5-7-37. So we're back in the centre again. A handy goal to South Australia against the breeze. Knocked out by Micken, punched again out wide. Payes going after with Murphy. In front that time. The ball picked up by Danaher. Danaher shoots the ball down towards that half-forward line. Beats the ball as a go for Billy Browners to pick it up. It won't bounce right. Hughes is there too and finally forces it over the line and out of bounds.
It doesn't look nearly so dangerous, Browners, when the ball's on the ground. It's when it's in the air that he's dangerous.
Certainly a great mark, but he fumbled that one. It gave Danny Hughes the break. The ball out of bounds in the forward pocket about 20 metres around from the New South Wales goal. It's a free kick. It'll go to Micken against Coleman on his shoulder, and Micken to take the free kick down there in the back pocket just over the 4-minute mark of the third quarter.
Micken rucked pretty well all night tonight, doing most of the work for the South Australian side. Far side of the ground. Platon's the only one there for South Australia to get the ball. Gets it out in the direction of Kernahan. New South Wales chip in, smother. That was Stevie Wright underneath there. I think we'll find when he gets up. Graham Corns on your screen. And I don't think we'd be too happy at this present point of time. 33 plays 37. We've travelled 4.5 minutes into the third quarter. There's a chance for New South Wales. Far side of the ground. Murphy, the runner, puts it onto the boot, guides it in towards the edge of the square. Brownless in front, couldn't bring it to the ground, and it's punched out over the line and out of bounds by the South Australian defenders. Tommy Hafey.
He likes that bit of a jump, Brownless, doesn't he? He doesn't like his station
I tend to
under
agree
a ball.
with you, Neil. He is one of those type of players. When the ball goes to the ground, he tends to find it a little hard. Boundary throw-in. In there, Micken from behind. New South Wales get the tap down, but it goes in the direction of the defence of South Australia. Players up before acceptances, comes to the ground. There's a chance now for McGuinness to get it forward, does so. Across here to teammate it, Abernathy. Abernathy goes backwards. Bad football by South Australia, but they will clear it. There's a chance here for Stretch. Has one bounce, two bounce, can have a third if he wants to. Draws the play up and sells the hand pass well. Across here to Bradley. Bradley gets it moving quickly. Now they've got a bit of space here, South Australia, if they can capitalise on it. Again, a fumble by Pays, and nothing going right for him at the moment, but the free kick's going to go his way.
But
lucky on that occasion.
Pays,
well, yeah, the fumble, of course, congests the forward line.
Seventh kick for Pays. 60 metres out from goal, looks for Kernahan. He's outmanoeuvred. There's a free kick going to go to Lindner here. Almost had his head dragged off. But Bruce Lindner's well within scoring range.
Yeah, we have this classic example of where to kick the ball. Now, he must aim at the right side goal post because the ball will drift right across the face.
You can see Lindner trying to duck out of trouble there and almost had his head pulled off. Now, let's see what he can do with it. It's 40 metres out from goal. Umpire just pushing him around a little bit further. I don't think there's any problem of him actually getting the distance. Comes in for his 6th kick of the game. Bruce Lindner, right foot drop punt on its way. Doesn't look too bad. Is it going to stay inside the woodwork? Good of shape. It looks good for mine. And South Australia now go on to 6-3-39. They're leading New South Wales 5-7-37.
It's amazing. It's the...
Get the ball clear as he broke through the back, and the umpire will ball it up out there towards the point of the square on New South Wales half-forward line.
It's amazing, Lou. It's the end where the wind's coming from. It's the scoring end.
South Australia 2 points in front after trailing by 10. Oh, beautiful knockout. There's a chance now. The ball kicked down by Hawke towards the goals. Brownless got one, I think, in the back, and Hughes not taking any chances. Just carries the ball over the line and through for 1 point. So they move on to 5 goals, 8-38 New South Wales to South Australia 6-3-39. Ball back into play again. No one can grab the mark. It's Big Burn going for a hand pass, misdirected, picked up by Salisbury. A hand pass coming out now to McDermott. And there's the ball driven up by McGuinness up towards the half-forward line. A good mark in defence by Carroll. I thought he pushed his opponent at the back, but the umpire not having a bar of it. Finally, the ball is shot back towards the centre of the ground. Over centre, well, up towards centre half-forward. Coming in to meet it now is Strip. Couldn't pick it up. His big foot got in the way. And the ball goes towards the boundary line. Coming in to meet it is Leslie for South Australia, but it finally beats him, and it's out of bounds about 65, 70 metres around from the New South Wales goal. Into this third quarter by just over 8 minutes. Ball knocked out again by Micken. Driven back towards the centre half back position. Pays missed another one. There's a chance now for Abernathy over to Pays. It bounces okay. He's paid the play on rule here. Pays goes for a long kick over centre half forward. Looking there for Lindner. Into his back was Cordy, but I think he looked for that one. There's a chance now for the ball to be picked up by Lindner again. Hooks the ball back looking for Kernahan. He's in plenty of trouble. Can't get clear. The ball tapped on as it comes out by Winton, but he's got his knee pretty heavily banged. He seems to me he's limping a bit. Picked up here now by Gnarly. A running shot at goal, but it's off target. And a mark taken down there in the back pocket by Cordy. A long hand pass to 2, and they're still looking okay, New South Wales, even though they're trailing by 2 points. Well, they're trying to claim the mark, Danaher, and he's pulled the ground by Bubba, who's sticking him like a leech at the moment. Picked up now by Pays. He spins away from the pack very nicely. And the kick is not a good... Oh, great mark that time. A magnificent mark by Hall.
Hawthorn, he's quite a good player, this boy.
They're waiting on Hall from about... if you know, oh, that's a great mark. No more than about 30 metres out, but the angle's pretty acute, but... He may have a chance of kicking this one. He's on his right foot for a right footer. There's the go. Now he's kicked it right across the face. Kernahan in front, couldn't get that one. Good play by Byrne. Spinning out the pack is Naily. A snap at goal, a left footer, but he's off target. Won't make the distance. Oh, Whitten dropped a sitter. He's grabbed by Lindner. Hand pass by Cordy. It comes out now, and Yorkie drives the ball back towards that half-forward line. Tripp tries to tap it on. Still fumbling going. Terry Danaher had a bit of a dip too, but the umpire's paid a free kick for in the back, and it'll go to Bradley. So Bradley with the ball at half-forward, ready to send South Australia into attack.
Bradley's kick towards centre half-forward. Up high from the back as Kernahan to the ground. Platten the first to recover, gets the handball out to McGuinness. McGuinness dummy, steps one way, but it's off the side of the bird. Swinging back with a breeze, and it'll go through from behind. Good football. South Australia there, moved the ball quickly. Platten, the ever-elusive Platten, 40 plays 38. South Australia back in the ball game. We've travelled 10.5 minutes of this third quarter. About to bring the ball back into play here is Cordy. Straight down the centre of the ground. Byrne in there for the New South Wales side. Puts the big arm out, punches it, pays again. Has been to the fall of the ball on numerous occasions. This quarter hasn't been a bad quarter, but there's a mark at centre half forward, and it's going there to Hall by the look of things. And a couple of touches in the last 2 minutes for the South Australian side. Been an effective player. In front, good hands, comes to the ground. The umpires played the mark.
Yes, he came on at half-time. He's a very exciting player, this boy. Had a big knee reconstruction last year, and he's got over that very well. He's a magnificent mark.
Tony Hall has a chance to put South Australia's 7th goal on the board. Looks good. Let's wait on the goal umpire. Yes, that's their 7th. So they now go to 46. New South Wales 38. We've travelled 11.5 minutes of that quarter.
Notice New South Wales have lost their centre half back with a knee injury too, and that may allow Kernahan to get into the game because he's been well held the last quarter and a bit.
Well, that'll be a confidence booster for Hall. As Neil Curley said here before, he's come on at half-time, shows a ton of potential. South Australia have got big raps on him. Tommy Hafey's still on the phone up there. He'll be directing traffic. So we'll see the New South Wales runner out on the ground very, very shortly. Play underway in centre field again. Stacks on the mill, very, very scrambly. Comes out in the direction of the New South Welshman, but they can't get away with it very far at all. Bounce down again at centre.
8 points the difference in favour of South Australia. They've made a good comeback in this third quarter. Waiting for the bounce again. It'll be Micken against Byrne, but it bounced okay for Byrne. It comes back now to Bradley, does a bit of shepherding, can't get clear. And once again, the umpire will ball it up out there towards the centre wing position. Into the quarter, the third quarter by just over 12 minutes. It's South Australia 7-4-46, leading New South Wales by 8 points, 5-8-38.
They're becoming very aggressive, New South Wales. They realise they have to keep the pressure on the South Australian players, particularly the quicker ones, who will stop them from breaking away.
The bounce. Micken against Byrne. Byrne got that one down. Picked up by Tripp. Threads his way through the pack nice, but the hand pass wasn't too good. He grabbed McDermott by the leg, but the umpire's called play on us. Jarman goes for a short pass, and he finds Naily at centre field. There's a chance for the ball to be driven up there by Salisbury. It falls a bit short. Oh, there's a free kick for in the back. And the free kick will go to Kernahan. A good distance out from goal, just on 60 metres out. Gone for the long kick. Looking for the high flyers. That's Bradley going over the pack, but couldn't pick it up. Good play by Cordes. He clears the ball away from the full-back position out towards half-back, stretch in the front position, getting away from his opponent, and the ball finally trickles over the line and out of bounds. It's about 75, 80 metres around from the South Australian goal. 7-4 plays 5-8. There's a chance now for Big Byrne, who went without the ball, picked up by Jarman. A good hand pass coming out now as we see Abernathy dodge and weave as he sends the ball up towards the full forward position, looking there for Kernahan. Put one out, picked up off the pack by Naily. Over it goes now to Hall. He fumbled the ball. Plenty of pressure on by the New South Wales defence, and the ball is finally cleared out back towards centre half back by Wright. Oh, they had a bit of a look, a couple of them there that time as it comes down a stretch. A hurried kick, and it's marked here by Platten about 55 metres out from goal.
Platten lets fly, and a good mark picked up by Lindner. Now Lindner's only 25 metres out from goal. He's on a pretty acute angle though. Now Bruce Lindner. He's had his 5th mark. He's going for goal number 3. Kicked 1 in the first quarter. Another goal a little bit earlier on in this third quarter.
You never quite know what he's going to do, this boys.
He's an exciting player on his day though. Let's have a look and see what Bruce Lindner can do with this. Slides a little bit sideways to have a look at it. Oh, a good kick from Lindner. That's straight. That's South Australia's 8th. playing 38. That time Byrne got the ball out of the centre. Stacks on the mill. Curley said before, a little bit of aggression starting to creep into the game at the moment. 15.5 minutes gone of this third quarter. There's the replay there, although they crashed into one another there. Stretch, been a fair player for the South Australians tonight. Bounced down at centre-half forward. Big thump away, comes out into the open spaces. Punched up in the air again, Platten underneath it. Tapped over the back of the head there by Wright, trying to get it out. Stacks on the mill again, and the umpire will come in and decide on a bounce down. Alien there also for the South Australian side. See who does the ruck work. This time it goes in the direction of South Australia, or New South Wales, I should say. Up there is Brownless. Couldn't do a lot with it. Out to the open spaces of the pocket, but the ball's going to bounce awkwardly for them. It'll go over the line and out of bounds. Danny Hughes hot on his opponent's hammer on that occasion. Only some 10 metres around from their scoring zone. 16 minutes gone of the quarter. Brownless and Micken coming in from the side there, though, was Danaher with Platten, the ever elusive. You're brilliant on your day. Drives it short, finds a teammate. And picking it up there was Jarman. Jarman swings the ball. Dummies. Swings back onto the left foot now. It's the ability of football in today's code, of course, being able to kick both feet. Here's Danaher, gets the handball out here to Thripp. A little bit of devil in him in this quarter. Thripp drives it high, but there's nobody home. And Big Micken drops back there on that half-back line to take the mark for South Australia.
Good mark to Micken. The ball shot out there towards that half-back one. Was a shocking kick, and the ball is out of bounds. So the free kick to go to Thripp out there at half-forward, a good distance out from goal, at least 80 metres. 8-4, 52 South Australia, playing a lot better in this third quarter. New South Wales 5-8, 38, just on the 17-minute mark. Off the side of the boot by Danaher's a chance now as the ball is picked up by Tony Morwood. Fumbles, tries to kick it off the ground, had a chance of a lifetime. It comes back to him again. He couldn't get clear. There's about 10 South Australian defenders there as Danny Hughes goes after. He doesn't take any chances and forces it over the line and through for 1 point.
The safety of the white line there, Lou.
8-4, 52, plays 5-8, 5-9, 39. Ball back into play again. At the back is Danaher, plenty of pushing and shoving there, and that's a good mark taken there in defence by Micken. Micken out there at half-back. Let's hope it's a better kick for South Australia's sake. A short pass, this is okay, and a mark taken there by McDermott. Didn't gather much distance at all as the ball is shot back towards the centre wing position. And a good mark taken in defence that time by New South Wales. Ball shot across towards centre half forward, falls short, and there we see a good mark taken there by Terry Danaher. Centre half forward, a good 65 metres out from goal. He's had 11 kicks, Terry Danaher, but I just think that this Bubner's done a pretty good job since going on to him.
Yes, he's got to tighten up though. That was very loose checking there.
Up it goes there. Oh, there's a great mark taken down there in the forward pocket for Tony Morwood for New South Wales. No, it's I should say it's Morford. I'll get him the third time. I'll just pick him up now.
Bradmore.
That's right, it's Bradmore.
First kick, I think, with this boy.
Yeah, he's just come on the ground. I think it's Bradmore. He's right on the angle. He's only about 15 metres out, if that. Let's see what the kick is. There she is on its way. And it's a goal. Well, there's Stripp trying to break clear. He finally does, gets it over that time, and the ball driven up there by Hawke up towards the full forward position, but a good mark in defence by Danny Hughes. We're just on the 20-minute mark of this third quarter. They all fly, the ball tapped down, pushed on by Micken, not a good one, but there's a chance now for a hand pass to come out to play, showing a lot of dash. No within Kewie, a long hand pass over to Kernahan. Another one out wide, this could be dangerous. We see McGuinness running to an open goal, a left footer, let's fly, and there's no doubt about it. Hit the post. Hit the post.
Well, it was a brilliant bit of play there, good bit of work out the centre, and the running play was great.
Well, they move on now to 8 goals, 6-54 to New South Wales 6-9-45. Now it's 8-5-53. Ball back into play again. An easy mark drop that time as we see the ball picked up by Kernahan again. A short pass. McGuinness couldn't get that tapped on nicely by Tui. Intercepted magnificently by Platten over McGuinness. They're both in trouble. A little bit too much hand passing. This allows Wright to pick it up. And the ball finally driven out wide by Scott out towards the wing position, but punched away again by South Australia. It comes back to Murphy, got one at the back from Bradley, but the umpire said no, it'll be a ball up, I should imagine, out there on that half-forward line for South Australia.
Plenty of desperation by both teams.
Yes, it's hard football out there. The players, any kick they earn has got to be well earned.
Almost 21 minutes gone of the third quarter. 53 playing 45. Still anybody's game at this stage in the ruck. In fact, I think he's lifted his game in this quarter. Byrne has done quite well in the ruck so far in this quarter, although Micken had the better of him for the first two quarters. Dominated the air so far, the South Australians. Byrne and Kernahan to do the ruck work. Kernahan gets the tap down, finds Bradley. Bradley's kick smothered, stacks on the mill. Kernahan in there buttering up again, trying to throw his body over the ball as Stevie Wright drags Platten to the ground. And we'll find the umpire now will, I dare say, put a bounce down. He's a little bit willing out there.
Little Platts, he'd be a bruised player after every game, wouldn't he?
Certainly would be.
He gets down underneath that pack.
Underneath the ball on every occasion. Umpire to put the ball down again. Siren not far away. That time it's Big Byrne gets to the ground. Bradley's first there, but it's being cleverly held in play that time by Murphy. Butters up again, gets a nudge in the back from Platten. The umpire calls play on. South Australia's wave it off beautifully. Intercepted by Carroll onto the left foot. They get it up towards centre half forward. South Australia in front. The fall of the ball. Here's a chance here for Morwood. Morwood drives it into the open spaces and has popped it through. Oh, great goal. Good anticipation by the New South Wales team there and capitalised on the mistakes of the South Australians.
Yes, good hard tackling work back here at half-back, and they got the ball moving nicely. And Morwood, of course, once he runs through half forward with the goals in his line, he very rarely misses.
We can see on replay here again. Morwood to the fall of the ball. Beautiful. 50 metres out from goal. Let's fly. Billy Browns was in the square all on his own. Tapped to the ground there by Big Bradmore.
The good work was done back here in defence by these defenders for New South Wales boys. They really worked hard.
That's Morwood's second goal. Ball back in the centre of the ground with the umpire. 53 plays 51.
Only 2 points the difference. They're still in plenty of trouble, South Australia. New South Wales putting up a great show as Strip drives it up towards centre half. Was another go at the goals by New South Wales, but it was off target that time from Murphy, doing a pretty good job. Been a pretty handy player. He's had 8 kicks and quite a few hand passes. Ball back into play by Danny Hughes. Micken in front, got one at the back, and the umpire said it'll be a free kick. So Micken to take the free kick short of the half-back line.
Had a good quarter.
Into this quarter by just over 23 minutes. 2 points the difference in favour of South Australia. There's the ball kicked by Hawke, but there's the end of the third quarter, and at three-quarter time, we see South Australia in plenty of trouble still. 8 goals, 5-53 to New South Wales, 7-10-52.
Smile on his face after that particular quarter. Let's have a look at the scores as we see them at the moment. And of course, South Australia bouncing back in that quarter. They only lead by a point, but 8-5-53 to 7-10-52. Neil, I suppose, analysing it, New South Wales are just fighting that little bit harder for the goals when it goes forward, and South Australia, everything's sort of going just a bit easier for them.
Well, surprisingly, Rob, the goal-scoring end has been the end where the win's coming from. Both teams have used that very well. And Tommy Hafey has these New South Wales boys playing exactly true Tommy Hafey style football. Desperate, hard at the ball, using the first option, finding the player out. And they did it that quarter without much from Danaher and Brownell. So they're both well held. But in the second quarter, both those players played extremely well. It'll be interesting to see how they go this quarter.
Some highlights on screen at the moment. They're getting dragged off the ball. Things got a little bit willing in that quarter, which I don't think there was any spite in it. It was just good, tough football, Neil. Can you see Linda on screen again? Unselfish play, although that ball did come spiralling in towards the South Australian there in the Pays, who unfortunately had a bit of trouble handling the ball a couple of times. But Lindner again having a shot, and of course he's dangerous up forward.
Well, Lindner is a very exciting player. One day he's on, and the next day he could be off. But when he's on, he's very, very hard to beat. This poor young Tony Hall, as I said earlier, had a big reconstruction. He's come up well. Lindner again, he's a very exciting player, and if he gets going, he could kick 2 or 3 goals a quarter. Good mark that by Bradmore. An equally good goal. He hasn't done much, that boy. Leslie held him very well, but this is the dangerous player, and unlucky here to hit the post. McGuinness is a great running player throughout half-forward line. Here's Morwood, ever dangerous when he gets the ball, looking at goals.
I noticed that perhaps having a look at some of the stats here, South Australia, 121 to New South Wales, 122 in the kick division. We have a look at the marks, 35 to 32, the hit-outs 31 to 23, although, as I said before, I thought Byrne played a lot better in that quarter. Let's go down to ground level. Of course, Stephen Phillips and Barry Breen.
Thank you, Rob. Graham Corn certainly kept the boys in there a little longer, needed another blast from the siren, but he told them that the match got physical in the third quarter and he felt that his boys weren't going in hard enough. Barry wanted the boys to let their bodies do the talking. It's a beauty, that.
That's a great saying. New South Wales are very confident, Stephen. They reckon, Tony says they've got the scoring end, so if they can man up when South Australia have the ball, maintain their concentration level, he thinks they can win the game.
Good on you, Barry. Back to you, Louis.
Well, it's the point the difference, and what a final last quarters. South Australia 53 to New South Wales 52. Here we go now. It'll be Micken against Byrne. Knocked out by Micken. Platten tries to force his way to the pack. Still plenty of fumbling going on. The umpire will ball it up again. Down towards the centre half forward position for South Australia. Well, they've put up a tremendous fight here tonight, New South Wales, and South Australia are not out of the woods yet. Ball tapped on by Byrne. Scott was thrown to the ground, but the umpire will ball it up once more, I should imagine. Pretty scrambly play, and that's understandable because it's desperate football, isn't it?
Very desperate and very difficult with the wind to judge the flight of that ball, Lou.
So, by the look of the wind, South Australia should have the advantage. Knocked out by Byrne again. Scott having another wrestle. This will be another ball up.
Lou, with the event of this running style football now, the wind doesn't have that great effect on the game that it used to in our day when it was a mark and kick situation.
53 plays, 52 in favour of South Australia. Knocked down. There's Naily trying to force his way through the pack, and you can bet your life this will be just about another ball up. The umpire was going to let him go for a while, but he's getting sick of it, just balling it up all the time.
He'll find a free very soon.
Well, he'll have to clear it out. Plenty of players gathering around at this centre bounce again. Well, neither ruckman got advantage. It's scooped out. There's a chance now for Murphy to crash his way through the pack. Morwood's down there too. A hurried kick out towards the half-forward line. Coming out to pick it up is Terry Danaher, a fumble. Chance now for Page to throw it out, actually, to Micken. Picked up by Platten, showing plenty of pace. Drives the ball down towards McGuinness. A hand pass comes back now, and we see the ball driven up here by Hall, looking for a lead, but it's not a good kick. No, a fumble by New South Wales, and the fumble was by Cruz, and the umpire's going to ball it up about 25 to 30 metres out from the South Australian goal. They're in front by 1 point. 53 plays, 52, and what a performance the boys in blue have put up here today from New South Wales. Knocked out by Kernahan, still plenty of fumbling, desperate football, and the umpire has found a free kick. It'll go to South Australia for holding the man.
McDermott again.
Yes, McDermott.
Had a quiet night since the first quarter.
That's right, he started off brilliantly, didn't he? Well, he's got a chance to put them 7 points in front. He's only about 20 metres out on a slight angle. You can see the goals in the background there.
He doesn't kick a lot of goals, this boy. I don't know why.
Well, he needs to kick this one, a skipper, to give his side a bit of a lift. No, well, that's not coming around enough. It's off target. Not good enough by the captain. So it's 8 goals, 6:54 South Australia to New South Wales, 7:10:52 as we approach the 3-minute mark of this second quarter.
Now, South Australia should control this game with this wind advantage.
He brings the ball back in for the New South Wales team. It's a good kick into the breeze, the far side of the ground, waiting at the bottom of the pack there in South Australia. Picked up here and swooped on by Bradley. Gets it back to whence it came, but in front, taking a good mark there was Carroll. Sighted a lot of him. Carroll should go straight down the centre of the ground, although it goes down to the centre wing position. Only his 4th kick of the game. The South Australians almost bring themselves undone there. Picked up quickly here by Morwood. Has time to have a look. Left foot kick out to the open spaces of the wing. Beats the New South Wales player on that occasion. South Australia at the fall of the ball. Drive it up high. A good mark pulled in there. Oh, who is it? Across the other side of the ground. Hall. Done some strong work up across that half-forward line throughout that third quarter. Oh, you can see there, got it across the top of the pack and put it onto the chest. Let's have a look at it again. Got the right up on the back of Kernahan. A good mark to Hall on that occasion. Now well within scoring range. Let's have a look and see where the accuracy is there. The right foot drop punch on its way. Got a hold up. Kernahan at the back. No. Comes to the ground. New South Wales. Hands on ball around the neck. The free kick should go New South Wales' way. They're not going to wait for it. The handball's on. Play on. Cruz with the ball. Right foot. Grandstand side. In front. Danaher couldn't bring it to the ground. Now a chance here for Thrip. Paddles it out well. Will the ball bounce right for them? It does. Now a chance to get upfield and have a look at Scott into the centre of the ground. Good mark. Taken on the chest on that occasion there by Murphy. Handball's on. Out here to Scott. Scott's moving the ball quickly. New South Wales are moving the ball quickly and well. Thrip again has a chance now. Shocking kick off the side of the boot. It's going to go out on the full.
But their game is good, Rod. They're working hard and they're using the players coming through with space. New South Wales are in this game, even though South Australia should be controlling it.
Yes, Danny Hughes bringing the ball back in again. Good kick from Hughes, one of the best kicks in the league. Oh, good grab by Micken on that occasion. Stayed at the back of the pack, actually, while they rose in front. Eyes on the ball and one grab, and Micken has taken this mark. Half-back flank for the South Australian side. Good long kick for him. Looking for Kernahan, or unattended. No effort in front. Seventh mark for Kernahan. Play on quickly out here to Pays. It's going to beat Pays, though, and go over the line and out of bounds. Centre wing grandstand side.
Well, that wasn't a great hand pass from McGuinness. The intention was there, but it was a bit astray.
Yes, he missed him.
Missed him. Ball out of bounds on that half-forward line for South Australia, about 80 metres around from their goal. There's a chance now for McDermott to get the ball over to Webber. Now, I think he was too slow. He had to get rid of that one. Picked up by Cruz. Shot back towards not Murphy. This is Phelan going after it now. Gets a hand pass back. It comes back there towards Jarman. He can't get clear. Down goes Hawke. There's a chance now for Tony Morwood to drive it over the half-forward line. Oh, there's a great mark taken there by Salisbury. Hand pass. This is dangerous. Leicester gets a hand pass out again. Back it comes now to Bubner. Bubner one back there again. Oh, Abernathy overran the ball. Picked up by Jarman. He saved the day there a bit. And the ball finally driven up there by Whittlesey up towards the full forward position. A chance for Platt. Is that through for a goal? No,
free kick. Free kick.
Might be a free kick down there to Platt. Didn't even know he was getting it either.
I think he knew he should have got one. I don't know if he knew he was going to get it, but he should have got one.
He got into his back a bit. It could have been like dragged him to the ground.
Good camera work there. Stevie Wright, the arm around John Platten as they went to the ground, having his ninth kick.
Just on 6.5 minutes gone. They're 2 points in front. They badly need this goal. As I said before, it'd have to fall over to miss it. There's Johnny Platten putting it through for a goal. A pretty handy one for South Australia too. 8 goals, 9 goals, 6, 60 points to New South Wales, 7-10-52.
Only one of the few.
60 plays 52. Micken, the tap down, comes to McGuinness. Couldn't capitalise on it. New South Wales still in the fight. Only 8 points the difference. Here's a chance for them to go forward here through Hawke. The ground umpire's pulled out a free kick. Almost 7.5 minutes gone on this vital last quarter. Still anybody's game. Who's going to go through and play Victoria in this grand final on Saturday night? Scrambly game early. The skill's starting to creep back in the game. Hawke drives the ball up forward and a good grab. Taken here by Morwood. Morwood plays on quickly out to the vacant spaces of the half-forward flank. A mark taken here by Danaher. Danaher, 55 metres out from goal. Right foot drop punt on its way. This is his 12th kick. Holds up to the edge of the square. Oh, weight being used in there by the South Australian, the big fellow there in Bubner. Allowed his teammate just to sneak across and take that mark. Ball floating right into the square. Handball's on. Comes out here to Jarman. Quickly, centre wing. One hand up there for Hawke, couldn't bring it to ground. Forced over the line out of bounds by Cruz. And you can see there some of the Victorians on screen. Robert Di Domenico and Dermot Brereton. The question is, will Brereton line up for Victoria on Saturday in this grand final? The big V already through. Kernahan puts it out to teammate. There's a chance now for Platten. Right foot up high. It's a good kick. Will it carry through into the square? Oh. It's going to bounce. That looks good for mine. Yes, the goal umpire signals it's all through, and South Australia get their 10th. 10-6-66 to 7-10-52, and the anticipation there was well astray.
Well, you need a break like that to win these close games, and things are starting to go South Australia's way now. Mind you, the players are working hard. They're starting to get the ball out in the open, and they're gradually starting to shake off this very determined New South Wales side.
Well, we're into this quarter now, and it's looking a lot better for South Australia. Just over 9 minutes gone. 66 plays 52.
Well, good football there by Lindner too. You could see holding him out. Bruce Lindner.
see Stevie Wright's been given the job of tagging Platten, and he's given him a very worrying time.
Well, Platten's really come to light in this last quarter when they needed kicking those goals. Very, very handy indeed. So we're back in the centre. Micken against Byrne. Byrne got that one down. Scott fumbled the ball. In goes Danaher, slung to the ground, and the umpire said it'll be a ball up. So it's a ball up at centre field again. 10-6-66 South Australia to New South Wales 7-10-52. They're not out of it yet. They put up a tremendous fight here tonight. Knocked out by Micken. The ball pushed on again. Driven down there by McGuinness out towards that half-forward line for South Australia. Overrun the ball was stripped off. Carroll went through pretty hard. Kernahan gives a good hand pass out to Nail. He was going to go for a short one. And the ball hits the deck. A chance for Linder it was to try and get clear, but they pounce on top of him. Tripp fumbles. He's grabbed by the leg, and he'll have to get a free kick.
There's no easy kicks out there, Lou. They're very tough to earn.
There's Thripp's kick back towards the centre wing position. Kernahan and Micken go for it. Micken got his hands, got one around the neck. Kernahan tries to crash through the pack. Finally, Kernahan comes, clears the box on now. This is the foul. They're all having a bit of a dip here now. Picked up by Hall. They're not worrying about it. It's a pot shot at the goal, but he's up targeted through for 1 point. They still have a real go here now. A bit of wrestling. You don't see many punches thrown, Neil, do you?
Oh, I think the main. I don't know why the players get involved like this. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's right. Well, they're all having a go. I suppose they're letting a little bit of steam up because it's been a pretty tense game. They see Hawk shaping up
here we
pretty
go.
well.
How about this? We've got the interchange players run off the bench on there now. The New South Wales interchange players are on there.
Oh, golly. Well, all in, I suppose they're all up there in New South Wales.
No, you can't do that. Look, they're coming off now. And the chap with the knee bands, he's got to come off as well.
Graham Corns there directing his runner out there to try and settle things down.
It's pretty fiery. We're just wondering whether the umpires have had the books out or not.
Actually, the umpires called the interchange player over here.
Got to call them all over.
Spotted him.
Yeah, he's going over to the interchange players now.
Big fella there is Winton. Headed straight for the dugout. Also in there was Byrne.
Yeah, the interchange players.
He's called him out on the ground.
They're just not allowed on the ground.
I think we might throw down to Stephen Phillips down on the ground. Steve, what's happening?
Okay, well, down here on the ground, Graham Corns has called for a count of the players, and the umpire trying to find out. I think you'll see that the reserve players ran onto the ground during the fight, and Graham Corns was pointed out, and the umpire was told, and the umpire conferred, but let's wait and see what happens. Calm has settled out here, but Graham Corns definitely calling for a count. Back to you, Louis.
Well, let's hope we can count up to 18.
Well, a very undisciplined effort there by the New South Wales boys on the bench. You just can't run on the ground during the course of a game without interchange being made. They're going to call the count. They're definitely going to call it.
Well, there we go. Well, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in a state match or a carnival match. This is the record.
They're going to call the count, and naturally, of course, umpire Laurie Argent realised the two players were on the ground have already run off. So there's two to start with there. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 18 out there now, so that's 20.
And what would happen? Let's say this
scores,
is
scores wiped off.
Yeah, a hypothetical question, and they did win the match, New South Wales. They could lose the game, couldn't they?
Lose the game, yep.
All right, play about to get underway again. Of course, if any reports do come out of these games through the carnival, the tribunal convenes the next morning and decides the fate of those that probably have been entangled in the melee. Kernahan takes the ball. South Australia have it in their scoring zone. 8 mark for the big Carlton player, and it's his 10th kick. Kernahan is probably too far out to score, but he's got a bit of wind behind him, Louis. I'd give him 55 metres out from where he'll actually probably put boot to ball.
If he doesn't kick it high, he's got a chance.
The lead on by Linder. It's going to be ignored. Kernahan comes in. Right foot drop punt. It's a beauty too. It's going to carry. Does this look all right? A great goal from Kernahan. And New South Wales get the ball up to their centre-half forward, picked up by Ryan, has a pot shot from 40. Brownless in front, goes over the top. Is it going to beat the two of them? Well, wait and see. The whistle's gone, but I think there's going to be a kick further back up the ground.
No, against Brownless for interference. They're going to have another box on here now.
Hughes and Brownless. Danny Hughes has the last laugh. He's got the football. The last line of defence.
It's a very important thing to have in a football match, the footy.
I reckon.
Here's his big long kick, almost to the edge of the square. A good mark taken on that occasion there by Abernathy. Abernathy straight down the centre of the ground. They're not wasting any space at all now, South Australia. They have the ascendancy, 73 to 52. Here's a chance for them to go forward again. Good handball here by Abernathy. Out here to Pays. Pays has a handball across to the big fellow there, but finds Lindner, and Lindner puts another one through. That's Lindner's 4th goal, and it was good football there from Stephen Kernahan. Unselfish football. We saw it happen last night, and the big fellow has put South Australia further ahead. 79 plays 52.
Gee, McGuinness's drive at the ball in the centre there when he had to take on the New South Wales taller player. That was what set it up. He got the ball out, and then, of course, it was just a piece of cake.
Well, it's 27 points the difference now in favour of South Australia, just over the 15-minute mark, and it's just about all over bar the shouting. They're starting to look good again. Knocked out by Byrne, not a good one. Ball picked up here now, a chance for Farland to get clear, but they soon collared him. He couldn't get the ball out. Picked up now again by Morford. Morford kick goes towards that half-forward line. Coming out the metre is Leslie. Leslie picks it up nicely, looking there for McDermott. Falls and takes the mark right on the boundary. That was a good mark by McDermott. McDermott out there on the centre wing position. Ready to drive South Australia deep into attack. It's a long kick over the half-forward line. The ball, there's Lynn defying, couldn't hold the mark. The ball finally cleared away by Anthony Danaher, back towards centre field, kicked off the ground by Hawke. They were the only tactics he could use there. Ball pushed on by Bradmore, looking for Hawke again. A hand pass comes out now over to Morford. Morford gives the ball back to Scott. He's put off balance by Blatt. The ball up towards full forward, but Hughes has got Brownless pretty well covered now and clears the ball away nicely out towards that half-forward line. Coming into meet it is Murphy's got a paddock to run in here now as he fires at the goals. The backers more with 2 South Australians spoil each other, but Stretch coming away with the ball. A little bit of luck there. There's a chance now for Yorkie. He missed it. Down goes right, slung out of the pack, and the umpire said he was grabbed by the leg, and he'll take the free kick at centre half forward. Ball driven up again by Morford. It's okay, and the mark taken there by Farland, well within kicking distance. So you've got to give New South Wales credit. They haven't thrown the sponge in.
No, they've kept right at it, Lou. They realise, I think, they're fighting a hopeless task now, but they're really putting the pressure on, and they're working very hard.
Well, we're just on the 17-minute mark, and it's still 27 points the difference in favour of South Australia, but Farland's got a chance to kick a goal here. We jabbed at that one, didn't put much effort into it. The ball hits the deck, a chance for Scott. Picked up here now by Hawke. A snap at goal. That's a good one, a goal. So they're still fighting back, New South Wales. Pushed down towards half forward, but a hand pass from Leslie, a bad one. Coleman gets a long one out to Murphy, a dangerous player out there on that centre wing position. He'll go deep into attack over the half forward line. Players set themselves. Oh, it's a great mark to Tony Moore with a quick hand pass to Fripp. Let's fly at the goal, but he's off target and through for 1 point. So they move to 12 goals, 80 South Australia. No, let me give that again. 8 goals, 8 goals, 11.59 to South Australia, 12.779.
Play underway again. Grandstand side of the ground. New South Wales go forward. Stevie Wright has the chance. Will it bounce for him? Platten Wright on his hammer. Gets it across to teammate Hawke. Good football. Hawke has a shot now from 40 metres. Comes off the edge of the boot. Good defence by the South Australian back line. They drive it back out again. In front. Almost should have got a free kick. My opinion pays. Didn't do so. Comes off the boot of Coleman. Puts it up high. Brownless at the back. Couldn't capitalise on it. Stacks on the mill. Over the top of the ball there is Bradmore. So a bounce down, 20 metres out, directly in front of the New South Wales goal. 18 minutes gone of this last quarter. We'll have a bit of time on, though. Big fellow up there is Johnson, be a lumper player for the South Australians.
Yes, he hasn't done the job that Micken's done, though. Micken has controlled the ruck all night, and this is where New South Wales got their run on last time when they changed.
The bounce down to take place again. Almost exactly the same spot. In there again, the big fellow. Johnson gets hands on ball first. Probably doesn't fall in the arms of his Rovers as he would have liked. Falling at the last minute was McGuinness, and the ball's beaten players over the line and out of bounds. So play very scrambly. Working hard, South Australia in defence. Graham Corns on screen. I think he'd be quite happy at the moment. Neil Curley, 79, playing 59.
A lot happier than at half-time.
Play it away again. Still very scrambly down there. Of course, South Australia battling hard to get it out, and New South Wales trying to keep it in their scoring zone.
Yes, they've got to score 4 goals in around about 3 or 4 minutes, and maybe 5 minutes with that little bit of a melee.
Tom Hafey on the phone, trying to get the messages out. They need quick goals. They need them in a hurry. Out to the open spaces. Bradley out there, but chipping a nice carroll for New South Wales. Gets it back. Waiting there, Platten spills the easy one. One of the few mistakes he's made for the night. Drives it up towards centre wing. Goes over the back of the pack. Danaher couldn't take it. Now there's a chance for them to go forward. Won't bounce for them. Coming in underneath there of the player there for South Australia, McDermott, battling hard, trying to tap it in, but there's going to be players over the line and out of bounds. In there was Naily trying to offer assistance. The ball just not bouncing right for players.
So we're just over the 20-minute mark of this last quarter. 20 points the difference in favour of South Australia. Umpires will ball it up. This time about 75 metres out from the South Australian goal. And this is where they want it. But I think they'll be going into the final with Victoria on Saturday night, which should be a pretty good game. But they may be a little bit tired after this heavy game too, because they've had to fight very well. Ball picked up now, as we said, the ball go back into attack. Up towards Linda, couldn't hold the mark. Good play by Wright as he goes for the big punch. Ball tapped on again. South Australian players everywhere as Naily gets the hand pass out to McDermott. Bumbling again. A hand pass comes out now to Naily again as he shoots the ball up towards the goal, but he's off target and it's through for 1 point. So they move on to 12 goals, 80 South Australia to New South Wales, 8 goals, 11-59. Short pass, Cruz takes the mark. A hand pass coming over now to Cordy. Cordy goes for a short pass. And there's a good mark taken by Farley. Back to Cordy. Over to Yorkie, back to Thripp. Thripp out there on the centre wing position. Got plenty of time to steady. Shoot the ball over the half-forward line, but the kick is bad. And this allows Leslie to take an easy mark. Back it goes to Jarman. Over to Hughes. Hughes out wide, looking for a lead, but there's no one there at the moment. Now we see Kernahan come on the scene out there at half-forward. He's got plenty of... Oh, he slipped. He's out trying to beat him all. He could have given a hand pass over to McDermott then, but there we see the ball picked up by Lindner. The ball knocked back, backing up well as Coleman, intercepted by Jarman, knocked on again by Coleman. He's in plenty of trouble. He actually threw that in the air, and the umpire said dropping the ball. He may have been a bit stiff that time because he did battle very hard.
He had double play on him too, which made it difficult.
Waiting on Jarman out there on the centre wing position. Drives it deep into attack up towards the forward pocket. The pack fly, that's Hall. Platten at the back, gives a quick hand pass. Now the umpire's found a free kick against Naily, and it'll go to Wright.
Wright gets the ball moving. New South Wales from the back of the square. Should drive it the quick way, straight down the centre. They do. Comes to the ground here. The big fellow Johnson gets the handball out, but it's intercepted. But it's all South Australia. They've got plenty of time to talk and work the ball. They do. Stretch onto the left boot. Not a good kick. Up here to Pays. Pays shoots it inboard. Now a chance for the big fellow here, and Johnson gets it across again to McGuinness. McGuinness onto the left boot. It's high. Up there. Good grab taken there by the player in Hall. He's impressed me this quarter. Hall done some nice things.
This boy's a great player.
Hall's had 4 marks and 6 kicks for the quarter. You can see bringing the ball to ground there. Comes in from some 60 metres out. The ball's going to hold up. Has the advantage of the breeze though. Kernahan couldn't bring it to the ground. Stacks in the middle. New South Wales defended well. Drive it out to the open spaces. Well, confidence abounding there from Hall. Gets it across here to Pays. Pays bounds it back towards centre half forward. Up before acceptance is Linda. Comes to the ground, punched out here. There's a chance for New South Wales to get it clear. Swooping on the ball is Hawke. Good tackle put on him. They've still got plenty of time. Shocking kick. Bad football, New South Wales. I know should be probably relaxing at this stage. We're gone, 23.5 minutes, Louis. New South Wales have the battle in front of them, 59 playing 80. It looks like South Australia and Victoria to meet on Saturday night. The kick here going to Hall. He'll drive them back into attack. Tie in there for South Australia's Platten, the littlest player, who's battling 4 opponents on that occasion. The handball comes out here to Morfitt. Morfitt to Wright. Right across to Yorgie. Yorgie goes for a run through the centre. Left foot drop punt in towards the centre of the ground, but the ball falls short. Trapped well on that occasion there by the New South Wales player. Morfitt it is, bringing it out here towards the grandstand side, going very indirect, New South Wales, and a lot of pressure here as Danaher gets it back. South Australia, everything's going their way. Pays has about his 5th kick in about a minute and a half. Diving on top of desperation as Hall can't do a lot with it. McDermott it was to come up with it. Was a hot ball.
Well, he fell on top of it, and it was a good decision by the umpire. Ball back there towards centre half forward. 21 points the difference. Another scrimmage developing, and finally, grabbed by the foot that time, Bob. No, over to McDermott, back to Pays. Over it goes now to McGuinness, and he goes for a left foot pass. It's a bad one. Picking it up now, Tui up there at half back. Goes for a pass, and Farland's marked it right on the line. There's the siren to win the game, and South Australia go into the final. 12 goals, 8, 80 points. To New South Wales, 8 goals, 11.59. Well, they had to play pretty hard to win that game, South Australia, and they would be pretty tired. And remember, they're coming up against a pretty fresh side in Victoria because they've had a couple of days' rest, and it was a tough match.
Yeah, very hard game, Lou, and I think South Australia would have to improve in a lot of areas to match Victoria, but you know, they can do that. They can play better than they played tonight.
Well, let's hope they can, because we've got to give full marks. They won the match, South Australia, but full marks to New South Wales, because most people here thought that they would be donkey wallop, but they put up a tremendous show, and at half-time they looked as though they could have easily won the game. And full marks to South Australia also for fighting back, because it was a tough game. The only thing that marred the game was that silly scrimmage we had in that last quarter. It was absolutely ridiculous. And of course, we saw the 4 interchange players from New South Wales run onto the ground, and of course there could be serious consequences after that, I should imagine.
The rule there is if the count takes place and there's too many players on the ground, that their score is wiped off to that stage when they restart again.
But it was a great performance, and we see South Australia now going into the final next Saturday night against Victoria. It should be a capacity house, and they've beaten New South Wales 12 goals, 8.80 to New South Wales 8 goals, 11.59.
It's like a golf putt, Lou. It doesn't matter how it's.
Well, South Australia going on to the grand final on Saturday night, of course, against Victoria. 21-point victors over New South Wales here tonight. Let's have a look at perhaps the quarter-by-quarter scores. South Australia off to a flying start in the first quarter, Louis, but New South Wales, I think, surprised everybody here with a great second quarter to lead at the half-time change.
Well, they led by 9 points, and South Australia in plenty of trouble. It was a good third quarter by South Australia, kicking against the breeze, and I think that held them in good stead to win the game. But I've just got the feeling they could be a pretty sore side after that match, because New South Wales didn't hold anything back. They didn't have there was no big pardons about their game, and this might set it up for Victoria on Saturday night, because the Vics have had a couple of days rest too, you know.
Yeah, with all due respect, I suppose it wasn't probably the most exciting game to call. It was tough, it was hard, scrambly. A lot of the skills were missing out of the game, but you know, there was some good passages of play too. You know, the exciting thing, of course, with Linda and Kernahan, they had a double-barreled attack, the South Australians up on the forward line.
Well, we saw a couple of great marks, and might you mention Linda, and that young Hall took a couple of great marks, and Billy Brownless was pretty spectacular in the first part of the game. But he died out. But you've got to allow for this too, that possibly South Australia thought they could have won this game early in the piece, and they got a bit anxious. As we see the scrimmage that went on, there wasn't much damage done, but the worst part about it was the mere fact that 4 players, the interchange players, rushed onto the ground, which was foolish, and of course it just makes a bit of a spectacle of the game.
Well, Kernahan, ever dangerous, unselfish player, across to Linda there. And we'll have a look at some of the stats very, very shortly. Here we are now, in fact, South Australia. In fact, that's interesting, Louis, having a look. New South Wales 163 to South Australia 160, but the ruck work of Micken was tremendous to watch throughout the game. He had the better of his opponent all night, and of course Big Byrne did some nice things around the ground. 42 to 28, dominated. Shots at goal though, 21 to 22. There wasn't much in it at all.
Certainly wasn't much in it, and of course I just felt that that third quarter was the vital one for South Australia. That's when they did most of the damage. They fought back and they actually led then, and they never lost it from then on. And it was a great performance, but I think they could be a little bit sore and sorry after that match.
It's pretty hard to be unbiased, I suppose. Victoria very impressive last night. South Australia, I suppose, can improve on tonight's performance. Of course, down in the winning room, Stephen Phillips is the man with the latest lot of information. Let's cross down to him now.
Thanks very much, Rob. With me, I've got the winning coach, Graham Corns. And Graham, you always, you said all along it was going to be a tough one.
Yeah, we thought it would be hard, but perhaps not quite that hard.
One of the interesting things, I heard you mention at three-quarter time in your address, that the physical side seemed to be going New South Wales' way. You drummed into your players to get a bit harder.
Yeah, well, I think they have an opinion that there's a few of our players that they can unsettle with rough tactics, and we just wanted to make sure that they knew that were going to have a fairly tough physical game on their hand as well. I mean, the three-quarter time was perhaps a bit late, but they were having the better of that part of the game, and we wanted to make sure we finished on top.
When the scrimmage occurred midway through the final quarter, there were players coming on from everywhere. Like myself, you noticed there were a few extras out there in the blue. You call for the count.
Well, it's one of those things you do as a reflex action. I mean, well, yeah, we did call for the count, but we wouldn't have claimed the game by that means or manner. We would have wanted to win it fair and square.
Just finally, Victoria on Saturday night. It's the one we're all waiting for. You looking forward to it?
Oh well, we've trained for that clash, and they looked pretty formidable last night, and we were just average tonight. So yeah, it'll be a pretty good game.
We're all looking forward to it. Thanks very much, Graham Corns. Back to you, Maxie.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Well, no worries there. You would expect Graham Corns to be pretty confident about them. Barry, do you reckon that Victoria are capable of being rolled by South Australia? It's probably a tough question asking you.
After watching that, no, I don't think it's very tough. It's an easy question. I can't see South Australia beating Victoria. Looking at the two sides to date, Victoria played very, very well in beating Western Australia. South Australia not so well in taking a long time to put New South Wales away.
That certainly was the case, and of course that match, Saturday night's final, Victoria versus South Australia, it's going to be a beauty. Everyone's got a lot of points to score there, and of course the winner champion of Australia, this bicentennial carnival. And following that, of course, Western Australia get to play New South Wales. It should be a great night's television, and we've enjoyed your company tonight. On behalf of everyone at Wide World of Sports, look forward to seeing you on Saturday night.